You ready?
Yeah.
Scotty, of course, as always. New year, new attitude of still not putting up with my BS. Here you go. 3, 2, 1, baby. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ring Post Radio. I'm Ryan Knightsey. I attempted to chug a soda, and I'm dying now. It's a new year. It's a new year, and the attitude is the same. Your boys are back, ready, willing, and able, and Gable to always Gable, to hit you with everything in the world of professional wrestling. If this is your first time joining us with this episode of Ring Post Radio, we, of course, thank you for joining us. We're here every single week, every single Sunday, typically in the mornings, but today we got a special fun afternoon episode. This isn't Ring Post Radio nights, it's Ring Post Radio afternoons. And instead of a beer, I drink a nice cherry Coca-Cola. I am your host, Ryan Knightsey. We are entering, I think, is this our second year officially, or is this our third?
Second full year.
Second full year at doing the show.
We start at the end of 2021.
Ah, yes, we did. It was the fall of 2021 or something like that. But yeah, no, we're entering 2023. Happy New Year, folks at home. We hope you were now finally alleviated from your hangover from New Year's Eve, watching Dick Clark's Ryan Seacrest show. What else can I talk about? Ring Post Radio over here. Let's talk about wrestling. We've got a big old show.
Introduce me.
Huh? Join me on commentary, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, the Bostonian himself, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. It's a new year. 2022 is now in the past. We look forward to so much amazing wrestling in the coming weeks and coming months, and hopefully all throughout the year. I honestly think 2022 is the best full year of wrestling I've ever watched in terms of in-ring stuff. Just unbelievable quality week in and week out. And I really do think 2023 can be that much better. I mean, it feels like everyone's trying to step up, right? And that's exciting. I'm very excited for this show today. This is going to be like probably our longest episode ever. I thought about it earlier. I was like, we're going to talk for an hour and a half before Chris Sampson comes on to do the Wrestle Kingdom preview, and that will be long.
Yeah.
So, but I'm ready. I'm willing. I'm Gable.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun. This was such a good past week of wrestling, and we're heading into maybe an even better week. So
yeah. Plus, we're coming back from not recording last week, so we have all this pent up energy.
I'm all jazzed up.
I'm jazzed up, ready.
I'm all jazzed up, and I'm ready to go.
Well, like Scotty said, we have a big show ahead of us. We are going to talk about some news bits, as we always do up top.
Big news.
We're going to talk about go ahead.
I want everyone to know that me and Ryan recorded something this past week that hasn't released yet. No. And we said, there hasn't been that much news. There might be some news this week.
Yeah, after we recorded it, we were like, there has been a lot of news, so I don't know what we'll come up with.
We got plenty.
Within
the 3 days since.
Yeah. But we got some news.
Also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, of course. We got some news. We're going to announce the nominations for the Count Out 2022 Year-End Awards, those will go live probably after this episode is done streaming.
When he says we, he means he's going to go through them. I'm going to just nod.
Well, you'll give your thoughts on these nominations. Talk them up.
Who's right?
Talk up the nominations instead of just your nominations. We're going to talk about Stardom, Dream, Queendom. We're going to talk about Noah, the New Year, or at least some of the card from Noah New Year.
The second half.
Yeah, and a little newsworthy of a show. I would say tiny amount of newsworthiness. And then we'll take a brief intermission. We don't typically do this on our streams and whatnot. It'll cut out in the actual podcast, but we'll take a brief intermission. And when we come back, we will be recording with Chris Samsa, the guy that does all the stats and analytics for New Japan's English color commentary team. He will be joining us to preview Wrestle Kingdom 17. So that should be very good. He's got stats galore, and I'm excited. Without further ado, I say we get into it with some of the news. Scotty, are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
So let's start off talking about the guy that broke our souls and saying that we thought there'd be no news. The guy that broke our hearts and announcing what this news was. Let's talk about our guy, our main man, a guy that you and I love, Mr. Dragon Lee. So, at the AAA Noche de Capones event, I'll say, the Night of Champions event.
Night of Champions.
After teaming with Jalisco to defeat FDR for the AAA tag team titles. Did you see the match? I thought it was a nice little match.
No. I saw the ratings on Cage Match and I got scared and ran away.
Yeah, it was a nice little match. Wasn't too hot. But after that, after winning the titles, Dragon Lee announced that he has signed with WWE and he is starting in January. It was confirmed on Twitter through Triple H.
That's today.
That is today. He is technically with WWE right now. It was confirmed from Triple H saying that an unbelievable athlete who has collected accolades and held championships across the globe, and he's just getting started. The next chapter of Dragon Lee's career begins with NXT. So there's some thoughts there. Dragon Lee also spoke with ESPN saying he hopes to be the next Rey Mysterio and said he spoke with Finn Balor, and Finn Balor was basically the guy that got him into WWE. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that the deal with WWE and Dragon Lee was finalized several weeks ago, and that it seems like AAA wants to try and work with WWE as sort of a partnership, because of course they're AAA. WWE's interest in Dragon Lee peaked during the August Dynamite Trios match, where Dragon Lee teamed up with Rush and Andrade to face the Elite. While he worked that match without an AEW contract, following the match, he was both offered a WWE and AEW contract. Dragon Lee took WWE's offer, and he is making, according to Dave Meltzer, making well above NXT level money, but not main roster money. He essentially, now if Mandy Rose gone, he will be the guy that is making the most amount of money in NXT. He also signed a 3-year deal with WWE. So a lot of news I just threw out there, Scotty, but Dragon Lee, he's officially going with WWE. He's officially there right now. Thoughts on Dragon Lee? Thoughts on his secured bag and his future with Papa H?
May 29th, 2022. That is the day that Rush debuted in AEW. So since that moment, AEW's had a chance to bring this guy in. I'm saying this right now. It was until August they brought him in. And once they brought him in, AEW is like, you know what? They supposedly offered them a contract. I don't know when that was. But WWE saw him and they were like, oh, this guy's good. Yeah, no shit, he's good. He's one of the best in the world. I'm both sad but also happy, and here's why. I'm sad because I want him in AEW, obviously, right? I want him in AEW. I was happy they got Bandito. I was really excited for possibility of having, all these luchadors in AEW. But I'm happy because I'm gonna have a place to see Dragon Lee finally. Like let's think about that. We've gone like 2 years pretty much without getting really to see Dragon Lee against top talent. He was in Ring of Honor, but he wasn't always wrestling in Ring of Honor last year. Obviously they went under, 2 years ago now. And then 2022 was a lost year for a guy that's one of the best in the world. Unless you watch AAA, which he wasn't in many big AAA matches. I'm sorry. He was stuck with Jalisco, who I don't think's all that, personally. So overall, I'm just happy. I'm just happy that I get to see Dragon Lee. I'm upset that he's going to WWE because obviously I want him doing what Dragon Lee does in AEW and New Japan. But we kind of got the idea that the New Japan thing was probably never going to happen again because of, the AAA stuff and CMLL, and that sucked. Here's the matter of fact now. There is no one that has a better shot at becoming the next Rey Mysterio for WWE than Dragon Lee. He is as good. He is that level.
Yeah.
That is what Dragon Lee is. And they made him a big deal right off the bat. They announced this via Twitter. They had HBK saying things. They had people giving reports to ESPN. They know this is a big deal, and I hope they feel that way. This guy needs to be the centerpiece of NXT while he's there.
Yep.
And then he needs to be the centerpiece of wherever you put him next.
Yes.
If this was a Vince McMahon signing, I'd have a lot more fear, but there seems like an emphasis here to make him count. And with how Gunther, whatever the hell you want to call him, wrestles, and like how he hasn't lost a lot of what made him him, I'm hopeful that happens with Dragon Lee.
Yeah, it's a fascinating signing, and I'll go.
What happens when he kills the first row and full sail?
Oh yeah, he's going to destroy. They need to expand that Full Sail barricade because it is going to be nasty. Yeah, no. So I'll say I wouldn't say Rey Mysterio. I'll be so bold and say I think he has the potential to be the next Eddie Guerrero. Like that is
either one's a win.
Either one's a win. Either one's a win. Or maybe an amalgamation of the two. I think that he is someone that can totally be that. The fear there is I feel like they might try to put him up next to Dominic. that fear immediately set in all of a sudden. But either way, I think he has the potential to be that because I think he has
a star. Yes,
I think he has the charisma, the skill level. He works well as a baby face. He works fantastic as a baby face. He works great as a heel. He's a very smug asshole as a heel. I think he can do a great job in either role he's given. And so I think he has that potential almost to be an Eddie. I think, if you have an Eddie, but then the merchandise sales of the mask, there's something there, right? I think that's sort of the move that you should really go for if I was WWE. The other thing that I find very interesting that I think is sort of being forgotten is you're right. If this was a Vince thing, I'd be nervous. I'm still slightly nervous because it's still kind of a Vince Triple H amalgamation creative because you got Bruce Pritchard and stuff in there. Sure. The other thing that I think is vitally important that we're missing is it's not just a Vince or a Triple H signing. It's really Triple H's first signing that he has made from someone that hasn't been in WWE before, if I'm not mistaken. If I recall the Gauntlet, he has like 20 goddamn faces on there.
Dragon Lee should be the whole Gauntlet.
He should be the Thanos head. He should be Triple H's head.
He should just be Thanos.
Like if I'm not mistaken, everyone that's been on that Gauntlet have all been people that are coming back to WWE, coming back from NXT or moving up from NXT.
I know we have rumored that Vincent's going in there, and
you're right. There are rumors of those people, but this is the first guy that we know for confirmed that may have happened September, around September, October or something.
Sure.
Which also, I bring this up. What is interesting as well is to think that this Dragon Lee stuff the signing stuff might have been happening around the Bandito signing stuff. That's something to think about as well.
They wanted both of them.
Yeah, that's something to think about. But yes,
it's the looking.
First. Yes, it's just finish my thought. Yeah. It's the first Triple H non-former WWE wrestler signing, and that I think is huge. He could have signed anyone, but he got Dragon Lee. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, he needs him to hit.
Yes,
and
Triple H needs it to hit.
And I'm pretty confident if anyone's going to hit for him, it's going to be Dragon Lee.
Yeah,
because that's how good Dragon Lee is. I mean, you and me have sung his praises on the show without having matches to talk about him having on this show.
Yeah.
He is so good that I know ways you can ruin a guy, obviously, that wears a mask. You just take the mask off.
Please don't take the mask off.
Which would be bad, and who knows what his name's gonna be, but
God.
I feel like it needs to be something with either Dragon or Lee in it, hopefully. You know, because he went by Ryu Lee for a while there too when he couldn't be Dragon Lee in New Japan.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this needs to work. And they've been looking for the luchador, the lucha star forever now. And they want to do NXT Mexico. They want to do all these things. This is your guy.
Yeah.
And if AAA sells out, not Triple H, AAA sells out to try to partner with them, who knows what could happen, right? But huge get, obviously, huge get for WWE in all seriousness.
Yeah, it is a great, fantastic job by Triple H here.
I'm excited to see him in Axiom. That'll be pretty sick. Him and all right, that's it.
I mean,
Carmelo Hayes,
the fact that he's also the highest paid guy, I fully believe he's going to be the guy that takes the title from.
Oh, he's the face of the company.
Yeah,
he's the face of the brand. I mean, give me him and Tyler Bate.
Whoo! Cook that, baby. Oh man, that's the put that in a pot. Oh, hot damn, that would be good.
We'll have a former Black and Gold brand main event right there.
Whoo! That has potential to be.
That's a spicy meatball.
But
yeah, big for Dragon Lee. I was not expecting this to be the news of the week.
No,
I'll say that.
It is also interesting. I'm just gonna blue sky this thought here. AAA wants to work with WWE. WWE and NXT want to expand into other regions like South America, like Mexico. What if they get a working relationship, much akin to, I don't know, Progress? Was it ICW? Whatever other.
That actually might be a win if they get AAA on the network on Peacock, because maybe they'll start shooting it and I don't have to see even worse production than WWE.
Or just
camera cuts wise.
Or what do you think it is all possible that WWE buys AAA? And this is the pebble in the lake. That's a huge blue sky thought.
AAA well, here's the thing. AAA is gigantic, right? Yeah. Like, it is a big thing in Mexico.
Yes. I wouldn't say it's like New Japan level for sure.
No, but it's big.
Yeah.
It's bigger than all of Japan. It's bigger than like companies they almost have bought in the past.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like Noah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Noah, maybe bigger than Noah. I mean, it certainly has way more history.
Yeah,
which is huge.
It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't have. Either way, you get the point. It's big. Mm-hmm. I just like to say never, because AAA sounds like they're. We know they're not smart. But yeah, Dragon Lee, good for Dragon Lee. I'm excited to see Dragon Lee wrestle. That's like my biggest takeaway. It's like, I get to see him wrestle more than once every 4 months.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna be. I'm excited to see this. I think this is a good move.
A reason to watch NXT is something I've been looking for. So no one ever.
I'm excited for Dragon Lee. I think obviously it's as much excitement I have. There is an arm's length distance.
I'm having. It's a WWE. That's the WWE like standard. You have to have the like. All right, well,
yeah.
Let's be careful here.
But we'll see how that goes, I guess, for WWE and Dragon Lee.
Yeah, when he goes by Dinosaur something, we'll be like, all right.
Ricky the Dragon Lee Steamboat. Is that anything? Is that something? Nope. Is that anything? No.
Next in the news.
With sad news, it was reported by actually Mike Tenay has reported this news.
It feels right that
it feels perfect. Former TNA announcer Don West has passed this week. His colleague Mike Tenay announced it with a tweet. Just heard from his wife Terry that our brother Don West will be spending New Year's in heaven. Terry said D-Dub finally had to tap out from his match with Lafoma. We bonded, which we knew about for a while. We bonded as soon as we met, both as broadcast partners and friends. Years of great moments, both on and off camera. And a lot of other people have been basically spending the weekend celebrating the career and the life of Don West. Him and Mike Tenay, when you think of the voices of Impact, voices of TNA, it's those two. Everything, I don't know enough about Impact, but the main thread that I've read online about Don West's announcing career is basically he is someone that was an outsider, came in, did his own thing, and knocked it out of the park. And I think that is something that should be commended. That is a fantastic announcer, and it is sad to see Don West pass away. and lose his battle with lymphoma. Scotty, how do you feel about Don West's passing?
I know a lot of people find him and Tanay to be their favorite commentary team. Um, I remember watching like clips from TNA and like they just had a great energy about them as a combo that kind of connected you to whatever you were watching. I mean, obviously TNA didn't always have the best of the best, but they had some good moments, and I just remember those two. Anytime I'd watch clips or watch matches, and he will be missed because he did make an impact. No pun intended. Uh,
What are you, Michael
on
Cole?
a lot of people, and I think I did like that Michael Cole and AEW. They all paid
Hmm.
their respects to a guy that if you didn't watch TNA, you may not know him, but he made an impact in the right ways.
Yeah.
He, like you said, he did it his own way, and he will be missed.
Yeah, sure. He will be missed. He will surely be missed.
Hard to kill. I think they'll probably pay attention, give him a lot of. Well, I know the name, but in all seriousness, it's like I think
There's something about that name that doesn't.
they'll give him a tribute. I'm sure.
Yeah,
And I don't know how many weeks of TV they have, but
I'm
they're
sure
all
they'll put
recorded
some.
already. Is my point.
Yes, they definitely don't have any more tapings because Hard to Kill is like
So
next week or something.
yeah, so I'm guessing Hard to Kill will be where they pay the most tribute.
I'm sure they'll will put out a video package because I remember they put out a fantastic video package when it was announced that he was battling lymphoma.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they have another
Put together one. Yeah.
put another break glass in
Yeah.
case of emergency video package that everyone typically has.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's interesting because unfortunately he's passed, but I will say that after a lot of bad years of commentary for Impact since Tenay and Don West have, I think they actually have a good team that
yeah,
you kind of wish would have followed those two in a lot of ways because it's like Josh Matthews and Matt Striker were terrible,
yeah.
but it's good to commentary in TNA is very important. Commentary in wrestling is very important. I think people forget about that, but unless you're someone that like me, I'll listen to Japanese commentary
Hmm.
at times for certain things, especially when the New Japan guys weren't there in person anymore. Um, but commentary goes a long way in helping the viewer, and he was great at that. So
Yeah, he was
rest
fantastic.
rest in peace, Don West.
Yes, rest in peace indeed. Let's move the show ahead, and we will be talking about the Countout Year End Awards. So it's the end of the year, or I guess the beginning of the new year, and to celebrate the year that was 2022 in wrestling, here over at Countout, the Countout Network, we have a bunch of awards. This is our third time doing this. We have a bunch of awards. The ballot will be released either today or tomorrow. Probably today. But we'll have all the tweets and everything about it, and there will be a link in the episode description. But the ballot is out, and we have the nominations together. This has been nominations pulled from all over the podcasts on the Countout Network. Representatives from every podcast have come together to put the nominations together. We have different categories, and Scotty, I have it all in front of you here. I will announce them. And we'll just get your thoughts on all these nominations. But this is how this award works. We have 9 different categories. Nominations were put forward by the Countout team. Each member was allowed to up to 2 nominations per category. In past years, it was 3, but it quickly got out of hand. In each category, you can vote on who is first place, second place, and third place winners. First place will receive 3 points. Second place will receive 2 points. Third place, 1 point. Whichever nomination has the most points at the end will be awarded the award. And I think that's it. The results will be announced on the $1 tier of the Countout Patreon, where you can join patreon.com/countout. So that's where you can hear it. The formal announcements, the moments announced, and obviously we'll talk about it on Ring Posters Radio once it gets announced. So, Scotty, you ready to hear what our categories are and what the nominations are for those categories?
I am. Let's
All right.
do it.
So, Male Wrestler of the Year, we have 6 nominations this year. The nominations are, in no particular order, I guess, Roman Reigns, Jon Moxley, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada, MJF, and Alex Shelley. Thoughts on those 6 nominations, Scotty?
Good. It's a good group. It's a good core there. I don't disagree with that. I think it represents a lot of the world, a lot of the top parts of the world. You get the U.S. Indies represented with Shelley
Mm-hmm.
and Impact.
Mm-hmm.
You got Japan represented, obviously. You get WWE and AEW. So makes a lot of sense to me.
All right, perfect. Female Wrestler of the Year. We also have 6 nominations here. Britt Baker, Shuri,
Wrong.
Bianca Belair, Saya Kamatani, Julia, Jamie Hayter. Half the field coming from Stardom. You
I
love to see
agree with
that.
every single one except for one.
Who's the person you don't agree with? I have a feeling now that I look at the nominations again.
Britt Baker, obviously, but I think the rest are great. I think Jamie Hayter absolutely should be in there. I think Bianca Belair should absolutely be in there, and you know my feelings about the Stardom crew. So
Yes. How do you who would be your 1, 2, 3 of the Stardom crew?
Shuri, Julia, Kamatani in order.
There we go. Tag Team of the Year is our third category. The nominations are 5 nominations here. We have FTR, we have Aussie Open, we have Black Desire, we have the Usos, and we also have the Acclaimed. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. Scotty, do you love the Acclaimed in here? And what do you feel about the rest of the nominations?
I think everyone belongs, but I do think that one team is missing.
What team do you think is missing? Did it make the cut?
The Young Bucks.
That was an interesting one, and that the Young Bucks didn't make the cut. I also thought that maybe someone would have nominated for the Elite, but no one nominated.
Yeah,
the Elite.
well, I think people don't do that because of trios, but like the Young Bucks had a great year with trios and tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
I feel like that's enough, but I understand why the Acclaim made it. Obviously, they're very popular. They've done great work of becoming champions and whatnot. I'm just a little shocked. No Bucks of Youth.
No, yeah, no Bucks of Youth. I feel like, based on like seeing people's nominations, Briscoe's not in. Are in here?
I understand why they're not in
Yeah.
because like they didn't have a long year, but I mean they hit every time they had a match.
That's true. I think the reason the Bucks weren't. I think if people in Count Out were able to nominate 3 people, the Bucks might have gotten a nomination. But I think
yeah, they definitely would have.
I think because of the 2, for a lot of people,
they just picked the same.
Well, yeah, there was one team in particular that got a lot of nominations.
I'm sure FTR walks away with it anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
That is probably true, but we will find out what the fans of Count Out decide. Independent Wrestler of the Year: Masha Slamovich, Michael Oku, Mike Bailey, Alec Price, Cole Radrick, and Nick Wayne. Thoughts on that grouping for Independent Wrestler of the Year?
It's the right choice, though. I understand why Shelley's not in there because of Impact, but like that's has to be the reason he's nominated for Wrestler of the Year. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, it's good. It's a good list.
I did also think it was funny that Shelley was not. Someone nominated Shelley for Wrestler of the Year,
he's
but
not nominated because of his stuff in Impact. He hasn't done that much.
Yeah,
he had that one good match with Alexander and a few good Motor City Machine Gun matches.
The Jay White one was also really great. That was a great.
That's true. That too. But like he's had a lot of great matches in Indies. So
yeah, that's true.
I felt like with his male nomination, he was a shoo-in. But all right, good for Speedball though. I'm not saying he would be my pick, but he'd probably be my pick. Masha Slamovich's best matches are in Impact too.
Yeah.
Or some of them. I don't know.
Some of them. She's had a lot of also, I think, good ones outside as well. I'm trying to remember.
I'll take your word for it. It's okay. No, it's okay.
I'm trying to remember any of them. Promotion of the Year: AEW, Rev Pro, GCW, Prestige Wrestling, and Stardom.
Only one choice.
Well, you got to pick 3 because it's first place, second place, third place.
Stardom, AEW. I don't remember the rest.
Rev Pro, GCW, Prestige. What I love about, I think what's great about this category, and this is how I'll say it this is how I'll say this, Scotty, in the most political way. I think what's great about Count Out is that it serves a breadth of a crew of fans. So as someone that may not enjoy one company, there are a lot of people that are in the Count Out network or part of the Count Out network or fans of podcasts in the Count Out network that are fans of said company. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not talking about anything particular, and there might be
Oh,
one
what you talking
company
about?
that we ranted about for an hour and
Hey, I
never
picked
talked about them
Prestige as the
again.
third out of all those.
I think Prestige has been a great one. I love Rev Pro. I think they've been fantastic as well.
I mean,
Prestige has
Rev Pro
also
just has
been great.
Osprey matches.
If I had another pick, I probably would have done West Coast Pro. I think they should have also.
I would
gotten
have picked
nomination.
Gleet.
I know you would have. I know you would have picked Leap.
I think I actually had them. I did a promotion myself. 1 second. Yeah, they were my third.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I gotta make this quick correction here, and then I will be good to go here. Okay, so this is Match of the Year for Major Promotion. How we do this is we have 2 different categories for Matches of the Year. Major promotions that include WWE, AEW, AAA, CMLL, New Japan, Stardom. Stardom is actually a company that moved up to major promotion this year. So that is pretty big. I think that's something that Scotty, you want to talk about them not going up the chain? That's something that you've been pulling for quite a while.
I mean, they're walking through companies in terms of growth. Like, there's no one growing as fast as them. They've been like, their percentages of growth the past like 3 years are up by like quadruple half the time. It's like ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
It's hard to not be a major promotion now when you're number 2 in Japan.
I agree. But we have a couple nominations here. We have Ospreay versus Okada at the G1 Climax Night 20. We have FTR versus Aussie Open at New Japan Royal Quest 2 Night 1. We have Starlight Kid versus Azumi. This is from Stardom Cinderella Journey. We have Julia versus Shuri from Stardom Dream Queendom, which we'll talk about later.
Pretty good.
We have The Elite versus United Empire from AEW Dynamite.
Pretty good.
And then we'll have Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay at AEW / New Japan's Forbidden Door event.
A good hidden gem of the year, truthfully.
Yeah,
it's been a lot of wrestling this year. I have to call something a hidden gem.
Yeah, that's a not. I don't know if I'll say dark horse.
I filled out a top 50 matches of the year, and that almost made my list, but it didn't because that's how good this year's been. So,
oh man,
there's my example. That's not a shot at whoever picked the match. It's just like,
yeah, there's been a lot of great matches that you and I have watched.
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot, but that's a great match. Like I watched a clip of it the other day because I didn't want to rewatch it, and I couldn't because AEW's pay-per-views. But I was like, man, I forgot how great this was.
We also have for the Match of the Year minor / independent promotion. So this is all the indies. This is Tokyo Joshi
Everything
Pro,
else.
Ring of Honor. Yeah, basically anything else. Rev Pro, just to name another one. Prestige, GCW, any other company that is under that umbrella
that exists.
Yes. So we have FTR versus the Briscoes at Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor. This is.
That feels like cheating. That feels like cheating.
A little bit. A little bit. We have Ospreay versus Oku at Rev Pro High Stakes.
That's not cheating.
We have Shelly versus Bandito at Prestige Roseland 3 Night 2.
Okay.
Colby Carino versus Joel Bateman at Sean Henderson, I believe, presents Injustice for All 2. This was a no ropes barbed wire death match. We have Keiji Muto versus Kaito Kiyomiya from Noah's Destination event.
Yeah, baby. A little Muto action, baby.
We have Yamashita versus Watanabe from Tokyo Joshi Pro's Tokyo Princess Cup Night 6.
You can tell who I picked.
I don't know who you're talking about. We have Aussie Open versus Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne from GCW The Art of War.
Aussie Open to GCW.
What's that?
Crazy. Did you say Aussie Open?
Yes, Aussie Open.
I had no idea.
That was for one GCW event, if I'm not mistaken. And then we have Moriarty versus Takeshita from Prestige New Reality.
As the kids say, that slept.
Yes. I think there are several nominations here that I think are missing. Like I said,
if we're counting all of Ring of Honor, then yeah, there's another Ring of Honor FTR Briscoes match that is very much missing.
It just wasn't nominated. Well,
to be fair, I don't know. I never thought ROH counted as everything else because it was just AEW to me. So
yeah, I will say that someone actually put Ring of Honor in the major categories, but that I just had to move them over, and it's fine. It wasn't you; it was someone else, but it was fine. Yeah, no, it just didn't make the cut for whatever reason for people. Breakout Star of the Year. So Breakout Star of the Year is not really MVP, not really like a Wrestler of the Year category. This is sort of a wrestler that can be any sort of wrestler from any different level, someone that has really stood out for you in wrestling this year. Really had a breakout year in professional wrestling. So our list here goes as follows. We have Speedball Mike Bailey. We have Starlight Kid. We have Cole Radrick, Alec Price, Suzu Suzuki, Nick Wayne, Billy Starks, and Natsupoi.
I like the list.
I think it's a really, really good list. This is, I think, one of my favorite
lists. I feel like I
lists.
remember hearing Billy Starks on the list last year.
Yeah, that's something I have thought about doing.
I thought she broke up more this year anyway, so I agree.
Yes.
I definitely remember.
That's what I thought about. I thought about maybe for breakout Star of the Year, I should not allow back-to-back years. I think Billy Starks has almost been on every single one. But every single year she's getting more and more. She's breaking out more and more, but she's not really going downward. Anyways. And then we have our special category.
Suzu Suzuki should win, by the way.
Suzu Suzuki should win. I mean, yeah, I would say that, but then I also see Starlight Kid in there. I'm like, man, Starlight Kid was
all right. The Stardom should win. There, okay.
And then we have our final nomination. I'm trying to see what it was in 2020. I can't seem to find it. So our final nomination is a special category. It changes every single year. I believe 2020 was the Lemonade Award, which, what is the best moment or something that basically you created lemonade out of lemons. That classic phrase, being a shit sandwich or whatever the fuck. Last year was the Forbidden Door Award for the best Forbidden Door-esque moment. And then this year is the Teddy Perkins Award for the most surreal wrestling moment in 2022. So I thought this was, thinking about this award and coming up with what this category was going to be, I was trying to think about what was sort of the theme of this year. 2020 was definitely trying to make the best of a shitty situation. 2021, I thought, was obviously the year of the Forbidden Door. 2022 was filled with a lot of not like insanity that was happening. So I felt like that was the best one. So our nominations here for this award are Ric Flair's last match, Shibata. What's that?
I said, fuck that thing.
Shibata versus Orange Cassidy on AEW with Mike Tyson on commentary. Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling in the main event of WrestleMania. Brawl Out. GCW selling out the Hammerstein Ballroom. Thought that was a pretty good one there. Cody Rhodes in WWE.
Can I nominate the actual show that happened in the Hammerstein Ballroom?
Cody Rhodes in WWE. Kenny Omega announces his return to New Japan. And Vince McMahon steps down.
Well, I mean, truthfully, one of those should absolutely walk away with it.
Yeah, you're right. It is GCW selling out the Hammerstein Ballroom. I agree.
That's not, and I don't even think I nominated the Vince one, but like just hearing all those, it's like, well, I mean,
guys.
Guys.
That is definitely a very surreal moment in wrestling. But I think there's a lot of good nominations there. I think all up and across the board. I think there's some stuff that's missing. But ultimately, that's just a personal take. But I only had 2 nominations. I think there's a lot of great matches, but I can only nominate essentially 4. So, my hands were tied on that. And
my top 2 matches of the year were nominated.
You say it again?
My top 2 matches of the year were nominated. So
I would hope so that they were that you nominated them.
Well, to be fair, I don't remember what I nominated because I thought that one of them would probably get in without me doing it.
I might have thought that as well for one of the Ring of Honor ones.
Yeah,
that might.
One of them did not get in from.
No. Just so happens. Just so happens. So yes, that is the year-end awards. The poll, the Google Forms poll will be out later today. There will be a link in the podcast episode description when we talk about so that you can vote, and it'll be available for like 2 weeks. So go ahead and vote.
2 weeks.
Let's move on to Stardom Dream Queendom. This was the year-end show for Stardom from 2022. This is typically a fantastic show, the end of all years. Scotty, how did you think overall Dream Queendom went?
For a card that was a little underwhelming heading in terms of the rest, and when I say the rest, I mean the non-main event, I definitely think it overproduced, which, that's kind of what Stardom does anyways. It won't be my show of the year or anything, but for a card that is a bunch of outsiders going against the Stardom roster, I thought it definitely delivered. Lots of good matches, and then the main event, which the main event's really all that mattered. If the main event hits, usually you could say it was a good show. So, thumbs up from me.
Oh yeah, I think this was a pretty
also,
good show.
And you beat the shit out of Melt here, and that was kind of sick. So it was dastardly.
Well, we'll talk about every match. How do you want to do this? From the beginning or from the end? How do we typically do this?
We'll do it from the beginning, so we just power through because we only have like 30 minutes to get through 2 shows.
That is true. Did you watch the Rumble, the Rambo?
I watched the whole shit.
All right, perfect.
So the Rumble is bad. There you go.
I was gonna say the winner of the Rambo was someone doesn't even written down.
It was actually super strong Stardom Machine and super strong Stardom Giant Machine, which are Saida and Lady C.
Yeah, there we go. Saida finally getting the respect she deserves.
Under a mask. Tough.
Yeah, I know.
She then proceeded to lose later in the show. Get pinned, to be exact.
I'm so upset. High speed title match. Azumi defeats Hikari Shimizu. You're welcome. I thought this was I'm trying to remember this match because it's been a whirlwind. I didn't say this at the top of the show. I bought a house on Thursday, so it's been a whirlwind of the weekend.
I've been a little busy, folks.
I've been super busy. So buying a house, coming back from Christmas, buying a house, and then trying to move in. So it's been a whirlwind of weekend.
As everyone can see, he has not moved yet.
No, I've not moved yet. Maybe next week. I don't think it'd be next week. Maybe 2 weeks from now, I'll be in a different room recording.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. But yes, Azumi defeats Hikari Shimizu. This was, I think, the second time I've seen Shimizu wrestle. So I'm definitely newer to her because she doesn't obviously she's not a Stardom person. She's a color person, right?
Yeah, she is part of Colors. Yes.
I thought she did really well here. I thought she was great. I always think Azumi is great, but I definitely think Shimizu had her own against Azumi. I mean, I don't know enough about the high-speed divisions of like other Joshi wrestling.
Let me just say, Shimizu's not a high-speed wrestler.
Oh, perfect. Well, I don't know. So, I don't know enough about like other promotions, but I personally just think like Azumi is like the pinnacle of high-speed wrestling. Perfect. I'm glad I'm in line with the takes.
Nowadays, she absolutely is.
But I definitely think that this was, I was not necessarily expecting anything because I don't know who Shimizu is too much. But I think she definitely held her own, and this was a really, really good match between her and Azumi.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It was high speed to the highest degree. Second best defense for me of Azumi's reign, not counting the Starlight Kid match because that's what she won the title.
Yeah, that Starlight Kid match was really good.
Yeah, that's the best one, but that wasn't a defense. And they're running it back this coming weekend, baby.
Any other thoughts about this match?
No, really good. Here. Check it out. One of the better matches of the show.
6-woman tag here up. Not just a 6-woman tag, also a preview match for Triangle Derby. It's a tournament, if I'm not mistaken, a six-person tag tournament?
It's a trios tag league, yeah.
A tag league, okay, perfect. So like round robin style?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
Well, it's because, go ahead.
So Hanan, Mayu Iwatani, and Momo Kogo defeated the team of Hazuki, Koguma, and Saida. It was Saida that ate the pin. It is also weird seeing Mayu Iwatani in this spot and nowhere else on the card, but the cards fall how they fall.
Good match.
Yeah.
Good, fine little preview match. It wasn't anything special.
Mhm.
but Stars is very good against each other. So, Hazuki slapped the taste out of Momokogo's mouth. That is the best of the match because she kind of hates it right now.
Yes, I love it. Same. Uh, yeah, I think excluding the Rambo, which if I'm not mistaken was like a pre-show match technically.
Yeah.
I think definitely this match was the lowest of the show. Not saying it was bad or anything. Like if I'm not mistaken, I gave it a
Yeah.
3 stars or something.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. It was just to get them on the card.
Yeah, and to advertise, guess what? We have a tournament coming up called Triangle Derby. So that's totally fine.
Exactly.
Tag team match: Unagi Sayaka and the returning Mina Shirakawa, with 2 other members, which we'll get to later, defeated Mai Sakurai and Tekla. So
I just remembered what my least favorite match was.
yeah. So Scotty, I know you had a lot of takes on this on Twitter. Before we get to the
I
ending
didn't
of the
actually have a
match,
single take about the 2 white women that showed up.
okay. I before we talk about the final parts of the match, let's talk about the match itself. What did you think between Shirakawa Sayaka defeating Sakurai and Tekla? What did you think of the match itself?
I thought Mina reintroduced herself well. I think that's the biggest. That was the most important part of the match, obviously, because she's clearly on her way to another Wonder of Stardom title match.
Mm-hmm.
She's clearly on her way, possibly, to having a faction, which is not my choice, but
Yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
I agree. I think Shirakawa, after her Wonder of Stardom match, I think Stardom recognized something that I recognized in Shirakawa years ago. That I think that is
they're going to give her the belt.
Yeah, they're giving her a push. And also, I do agree this match is pretty good. I think the combination of Tekla and Shirakawa continued to be a great combination. As terms of dance partners in that ring. So
that was the best part of the match. Those 2.
So the post match here is really the newsworthy item of the show. So I believe what happened first was Mina told
Unagi we're not friends anymore. Pit Kabuki's dead. Unagi was sad, which makes all of us sad. But it's really weird because Mina's supposed to be a baby face, and yet she's like, "Screw you, Unagi." And I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah. Oh, during the match, Mina definitely brought like a tougher energy.
I thought. Yeah, she's just supposed to be a baby face.
Yes,
that's
I don't think she's a baby face anymore.
No, and then she introduced her new little group, Club Venus, which is Mariah May of the European scene, and the former NXT UK star, Saya Brookside, who has been in Stardom before. Yes. So that is the duo that will be teaming with Mina in the Triangle Derby. Yeah. that is it.
I'm into Club Venus.
I'm happy for Mariah May because she lost a lot of dates in the European scene after speaking on them. I believe someone told me. So good for her. Yeah, she seems excited. Zaya Brookside, I mean, whatever.
For me, I kind of like Zaya Brookside. I think she has a little upside on her Brookside.
They're a good team to go with Mina.
Yes.
I mean, if we were gonna bring people over, bring young, unproven, see what they got. Yeah. If they don't got anything, you cut them loose. Pretty easy.
And Shirakawa, she has experience to train and give to all these women, so it's something to just build around. I think it's slightly risky to do that around someone who is like just breaking out onto their own.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah,
won't we?
Yeah, the real test is how much star power does Shirakawa have on her own. I mean, this isn't a, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't a clean break from Cosmic Angels. But this is a sort of sub-faction that in Stardom never leads to anything permanent.
Yeah, always leads to another faction. That's how literally the Cosmic Angels were made. So there you go. So but, that's them.
Yes, we will see how that all plays out.
As I like to say, let's stop talking about Mina Shirakawa.
How dare you? How dare you? She's fantastic. She's the leader of the
she
best
had
faction.
She had her look with the mask and the new haircut. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she looks like a superstar.
Yeah, baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
And
baby.
she was good. She was the best part of the match. So
Yes. It's
Nagi
also.
didn't do anything.
I also just thought it was funny because like Sayaka doesn't work for the company anymore, so she had to go out there.
Yeah.
She won the
cry.
match, but then be told her tag team is dead, and she had to stand at the ring entrance and cry, and that was her booking.
Poor Unagi. Well, people know that people love Unagi, so like that's the thing.
Yeah, no, it works.
But again, I don't think we're trying to make Mina heel. So
Yeah,
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Yeah, especially like Zaya Brookside in there. Like that's something that I don't know. There's something about that. You just make her babyface, make her like a I don't know. Triple threat, Goddess of Stardom title #1 contendership match. Himeka and Maika defeated the team of Mirai and Ami Sourei and Raka and Natsuko Tora. What do you think of this match?
I thought this match was really good. Probably the more underrated match of the show because it was just a hoss fight.
Mm-hmm.
It was 6 hosses just slapping meats, as we say. I was excited about Mike and Himeka winning until the titles changed later in the night, and I was like, shit, they're not winning. They're not beating Beltier or 7-Up now. Yeah. So that was tough. But it was a good match. Lots of lariats, lots of what you'd expect from these 6. And I thought Tora and Ruaka again didn't feel outshined. I think they're really improving as a team.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that they are probably not going to win the tag titles now.
It's gonna be a great match.
But I think if it's anything like this triple threat match, super hard hitting, and going into that tag match, it's going to be great. So I think that is a solid move on that part.
Undeniable will be great. It's just I would have liked Mike and Himeka to actually get a title run.
That's fair.
But it's okay. They're used to losing.
That's true. That's true. They are the people that should getting pushed higher.
Zack Sabre Jr. They are that.
Yeah.
They'll win a big match. They'll lose the biggest match.
Yes, they are solidly mid card. Kairi versus Utami Hayashishita. This had no end result because it ended in a 15-minute time limit draw. I thought this match was really, really good. Not the best Kairi match that I've seen this year. But
thanks, bud.
But this match was still fantastic. What did you think?
I don't really ever ask for matches to keep going, but this was one of those times I really wanted the match to keep going. They had like another 25 minutes, it felt like, of content ready to go. It's just it was just a tease. That's what this was. It was a tease to what we'll probably get in 2023, a big maybe IWGP match, something like that. Kairi's back at the top of her game. And as I've said on every show I've been on, every review I've written, everything, Utami Hayashishita is so much better now than she was at last Dream Queen.
Yeah,
and she was very understanding.
And she was like the best female wrestler in the world at the time.
I said this to someone. I said because we were talking most improved. And I was like, I'm not allowed to pick her, but she would be my pick.
Yeah,
it's unfair that the person who might won many people's Wrestler of the Year or Women's Wrestler of the Year in 2021 is a better wrestler by leaps and bounds now. But it's just the truth.
But also not nominated as don't think of her as Wrestler of the Year. She's in
no, she didn't have that at all this year. I meant in 2021.
Yes, no, I'm saying she was Wrestler of the Year in 2021, and you're saying that she's improved more. But the competition has got so much higher.
She also didn't do anything.
That's also very true. I think that's what it is. I think like she had a great run, then she sat back, retooled a little bit, trained a little bit. And then seems like they're prepping for 2023.
That the Mayu match, the Shuri matches, the 2 that she had this year, and the match here. It's like, all right, she's ready to go for 2023.
Yes,
let her cook.
I would love to see that. I guess we'll find out. The reason I said it wasn't as good of a Kairi match that I've seen previously this year. Part of it was that. It didn't quite get to a height because it ran out of time. It was like they did the classic thing for me I thought that of time limit draws where it's like they never quite reached the climax of the match because it gets cut off by the time limit.
Like I said, they had another 20 minutes in them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they went all out from the start. They didn't do the whole like, oh, we're wrestling to a draw. Let's look like we're wrestling to a draw.
Yeah. No.
That is a thing that people do,
Yeah.
sadly.
Oh, I totally agree. Artist of Stardom title hardcore match. Hiragi Karumi, Risa Sera, and Suzu Suzuki. Maybe, and I don't know if I say upset win, but definitely was not expecting this win over Momo Watanabe, Saki Kashima, and Starlight Kid. They are the new title holders. This match
Here's my pick.
was crazy. This match was chaotic. I'm pretty sure someone got a bike tire over their skull, ridden over them at one point. If not their skull, their head, their neck. This was a wild, chaotic match. Just insanity, just the entire time. What do you think of this match, Scotty?
Some may say that Suzu Suzuki is one of, if not the best wrestler in the world at the age of 20.
When I found that out, I got angry.
So let's just say she now has her first of what will be many Stardom championships. This was my pick because they were the Ueno Tai team wasn't teamed up in Triangle Derby, and that kind of started to kind of leak. And then I was like, you know what? Promise has been such a big part of this company. Let's strap them up. It's time we strap them up. It's exciting because this means more Suzu for a very long time. More Suzu means we all win.
Yeah, no, I think
and prominence overall.
I totally agree. I like Risa Sera. I think I've seen one other Karumi match. Suzu Suzuki.
She's just there to be a good hand.
Yeah, I think I've seen like 10 Suzu Suzuki matches this year, if probably more, and every match I've seen has been great with her. I think she is literally sky's the limit with her. I think she has all the potential to be, maybe a Hall of Famer one day. I don't know. Like the ceiling is huge, I think, with her, like in her amount of potential.
The moment she signed is the moment the rocket's strapped completely.
Yeah. I think she can change, especially if she is part of Stardom and she is part of the I was going to say cyber agent. That's not correct.
Bushi.
Sort of the Bushi Road group of expanding to the West. I think Suzu Suzuki would be a fantastic person to do that because I think she can legitimately be a great asset to the West. Because you can also bring her over, have her face someone like on AEW, and she can lose versus like Mayu or whatever, and she would be, it would be fantastic. See her versus like Toni Storm or Jamie Hayter. Oh, boy, howdy! That's all I gotta say, baby. That's all I gotta say. Okay. Anyways, Goddesses of Stardom title match. What is it? Goddess. Nanae Takahashi and you defeated Natsupoi and Tam Nakano. I think also sort of an upset victory. Didn't really expect this one. Didn't see this one around the bend.
Yeah, that one's, yeah.
This was a real surprise to me. Not only was it a real surprise to me, I've never seen you wrestle before. I feel like I've seen people talk about it on Twitter. Holy crap, this person's good. She's real good. She's real good.
She's got one of the best like closing sequences, things to like tag matches that I've seen, where she just destroys. This for me was the second best match of the night.
Yeah,
and it really played into what Meltier is supposed to be, which was just a great babyface team, and having the outsiders kind of destroy them. And there was a perfect shot of the referee Daichi after Natsupoi gets the last ride through the mat. He just like pins her, and he's just like, all right, here we go. And it's like, yeah, you lost by a lot. But it was a great match. Very physical, very demanding, great tag title match. Meltier loses, which I'm very sad about, but 7-Up's been great. So them and Mahime should be excellent in January. Well, this month.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see more of this team because I just feel like it feels like I've just discovered them, like in a weird way. And I know I'm super behind on that sort of scene. But we're dipping our toes ever so slightly and getting more and more expanding into more and more of the Joshi scene at large. Nanae Takahashi, obviously, she's been here a while. I've seen a couple matches of her already. It's just like, holy crap, this person is real good. Is very good. I would like to see more of her, definitely. And, nothing to take away from Natsupoi and Tam Nakano. I think they also did a really good job.
Yeah.
But I was overblown by how good Yu was here.
Yeah.
Wonder of Stardom title match. Saya Kamitani defeats Haruki Umasaki. I was sort of concerned because that was on the list of title change for the Artists of Stardom titles,
Yeah.
the Goddesses of Stardom titles. I was like, are they? Do they dare? Do they dare? But they did not dare. Rossi Ogawa did not dare. Wonder of Stardom title match. Saya Kamitani did get the win to continue her stupendously long reign over here. I mean, she's now at 368 matches or days, I should say. She's had like a bajillion defenses at this point. What do you think of this match?
One of my least favorite Kamitani defenses.
Yes, I can
I
agree
have
with
the
that.
second to last. Only the Unagi match for me, which was her first, was worse for me. Not that Umasaki was bad. She wasn't bad. It was just such a big spot for her, and I don't think she was able to live up to what Kamitani has done all year.
Yes.
There was some iffy parts here and there, a little clunky early on. They figured it out, but not what I loved.
Yeah, I think it was sort of a two-pronged thing. One,
Also, by the way, I just want to say this for the people that don't know. Umasaki, like the most wrestlers she's ever wrestled in front of, is like maybe 1,000 people,
Yeah.
maybe on a Stardom show. Otherwise, she's usually wrestling like 300.
Yeah.
And this was nearly 4,000.
Yeah, I felt that. I felt Umasaki not quite having the full confidence there. I think it's that was I don't I'd agree. I don't think she was bad. I just think for Joshi standards, I would you can consider her lower on
I'll
that totem
specifically
pole.
say for Saya standards.
Yeah, well, that's also true. It's three-pronged. You have the lack of confidence. You have Saya just having a fantastic year and just not really living up to that. And then you're coming off of the match previously, which is fantastic, and you get you in there and a 9, a fantastic match. So you have to follow that. I just don't think it was set up great for Umasaki here. And I didn't really come away watching this match being like, oh, I gotta, I walked away from the Yu tag match where I was like, I want to watch more Yu wrestling. I came away from this Umasaki match and I was like, all right, let's watch something else. Let's get to the main event.
And I think that's incredibly fair. So
yeah, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's talk about that main event. Let's strap in, folks. Here, let's put the seatbelt on. Click. The main event. Strapped in. Here we go. Main event. World of Stardom title match. Julia versus Shuri. Julia gets the win. We talked about this months ago when it was announced after the 5-star Grand Prix. That maybe this is like the third year in a row where the main event 5-star Grand Prix person is going on to go challenge for the World of Stardom title. And I had that conversation with you of like, we both can see it being Julia's year. This is Julia's time. But maybe just maybe there's the thing in the back of my head of like, do they dare do it 3 years in a row, the exact same booking? Which that's a conversation for a later date, but it didn't matter. This match was fantastic, really, really good, or really, really great, I should say. Julia gets the win. She wins the title, fantastic fashion, pulling out Hanakamura moves left and right. Just a fantastic match. Scotty, I know you got a lot to say about this match. How would you feel this match was?
For someone that has emotionally invested into Julia, has emotionally invested into Shuri, has emotionally invested in the story, this promotion, everything about it, I knew this was my match of the year before it ended. Before the match ended, I knew. Once she hit the Tiger Lily, which is Hanakamura's pile driver, I was like, all right, I'm set. I'm done. Nothing has made me feel like I have in this match. Don't get me wrong. Okada and Ospreay from the G1 final, phenomenal stuff. It was my match of the year up until I watched this match because this is, as a Stardom fan, this is the stories you invest in. This is the match you invest in. They go out there, they kill it. The story of Shuri, if you know Shuri's story, all she's ever wanted was that title. So what did Julia have to do to beat her? She had to hit every single bomb she had in the book. She hit Micah's moves. She hit Hameka's moves. She hit Hanakamura's moves. She hit her own finisher. She hit what was her super finisher, which was the Northern Lights bomb. It wasn't until she hit the glorious
Yeah.
Northern Lights bomb to get the win, which, absolutely destroyed Shuri and her head. Um, she threw her into the crowd on a bunch of chairs, which was terrifying. Shuri pile driver through a table. They went to war. They knew the assignment, Ryan,
Yeah.
and they lived up to the stakes. They closed out Stardom's 2022, I think, as good as you can ask them to. Um, it was fantastic. It was the perfect way for them to end their year.
Yeah. I thought this match was fantastic.
And her reign, by the way, this has a chance to be the reign
Yeah.
of the World of Stardom title now.
Yes. I think it's fascinating because Shuri Great
Also,
Reign.
I told you people. I told you people. I told you to bet money on this being special, and I was right.
For audio listeners,
Those are my winnings. I didn't actually bet.
For listeners, Scotty did in fact wave wads of cash into the microphone in front of the audience at home. Fantastic work, Scotty.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know it's fascinating that Julia gets the win here because Shuri, great reign. I'm interested to see where she goes next. I hope it's not sort of a.
It's. Do you know who Chihiro Hashimoto is?
Yes, I do.
That's where she's going next. She challenged her in the press conference after the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're not holding back.
I was going to
Sendai
say,
Girls Ace is coming to Japan, coming to Stardom this week because Shuri said, "All right, that's enough. I'm fighting everyone until I get back." It's wild, but they're building to their biggest show possibly ever at the Yokohama Budokan, not the Yokohama Budokan, the Yokohama Arena.
Yeah.
On April 23rd, and that match will probably be part of the build.
Yeah, no. I was about to say, I was like, I hope they didn't have don't do like a Shuri Utami like cycle down sort of sequence.
Yeah,
no. I'm glad to hear that they're not. On the
I
other
think
hand,
Shuri can be cycled down.
that might be true. The other hand, Julia getting the win here, obviously fantastic stuff here. But you have Julia coming in at a time where Stardom and especially Bushiroad are presenting Stardom to the Western audience. They're not to say that they shouldn't have gone with Shuri, but they are obviously we're going with Julia to hugely promote to the Western audience at the time when Bushiroad's attempting to do that with now maybe Monet Banks on the way as well to help boost that as well. So you have the world title holder now being Julia as being the Stardom essentially saying, all right, she is going to be our way into the West in conjunction with Sasha Banks. So I think that is very fascinating decision, politically speaking. Not saying Shuri would have been a bad choice or anything, but I also agree that I think Julia is the person to go in there. I think when I started watching Stardom, it wasn't. I mean, Mayu a little bit, but it wasn't really Mayu. It was really what really got me into watching Stardom more was the Hana Kimura Julia feud. In reality, and that was the thing where I saw a lot of it, and I was like, "This seems interesting. This seems crazy." Julia was like, I was really fascinated about Julia. I really love Julia. So yeah, no, I think her as the West, ambassador, I guess. Julia as the Western ambassador to a certain extent for Stardom is fascinating. I'm sure we'll also see her wrestle a couple times now in
Kairi technically is, but yes.
I guess we might see Kairi wrestle more, but
a certain Sasha,
maybe a certain Sasha. But again, no, it's very fascinating to me, and I'm glad to see that happening. I'm glad to see where we go from here with Julia's reign. I mean, did they? I don't recall. Did they have a? Did someone come out after this match? I don't recall.
We kept it all about Julia for now. She is going to have I feel like she's going to possibly have the best reign that title's ever seen because she already has so many feud setups. She already has so much ready to go that it's going to be hard for her not to.
Yeah.
Unlike Shuri, and this isn't a shot at Shuri, um, but she has more instant stories right off the bat. She has the biggest match they have also, which they've never done in Utami for somewhere down the line, whether that be Yokohama Arena or not.
Yep.
It's big time. She's the one to go with. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential. Definitely a lot of potential here, and I'm very excited to see because this is, I think 2023. Has been 2022 and 2021 have been a lot of like building years, rebuilding years, acquisition years, sort of stuff. I think now is really when Stardom is going to shift into a higher gear and really, really blow up this 2023, especially in the West. I'm fascinated to see what happens this year, and obviously going with Julia. And track record shows, Scotty, that she'll have a year-long reign that ends at Dream Queendom. So we'll see what happens there. But we'll see who defeats Julia. That Julia Utami match will probably be happening. Ooh, that actually would work quite well now that I think about it. If we're thinking Utami goes back up, maybe she wins the 5-star Grand Prix. It's Utami versus Julia at Dream Queendom, and then Utami wins again because that'd be 4 years in a row.
I think they do break the mold this coming year. I
really hope they do, or I'm gonna start complaining.
I think Julia is either going over the 365 or losing it before that. So
yeah, I agree. But I can't.
It's gonna be fun.
I can't see who would be doing that.
We gotta power through Noah now.
Yes, which will be very quick.
It won't be difficult. It's not really difficult, honestly.
No, there's a lot.
Show's kind of bad.
There's a lot of stuff that we didn't watch too. We didn't watch like the first half of the card.
I just know my boy Jack Morris represented.
Yeah, baby. Jack Morris versus Timothy Thatcher. I watched that match. I thought it was a good match.
I want to say to everyone, he is a legitimate prospect. He is grown so much from the first match I saw with him to I watched this match that he had with Nakajima a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He beat Nakajima, by the way.
Yes.
And that was the best match I've seen him in.
Yeah.
He's getting there. He is one of the best international stars a Japan company has brought over that's unknown.
Yes.
To many.
They are pushing him hard. And I think I think Jack is doing a great job to keep up with it.
He should win the national title.
Not a bad idea. Maybe I don't know if they'll do it yet. I think that maybe
not yet, but in time.
I think there's a chance that this year. Well, we'll see what happens with Jake Lee.
Yeah, he might win a tag title now that it's Jake Lee with him.
Yes. So I thought this match was really good. I've seen people complaining about Thatcher online. I think that's fair. He did not seem into this match. Your classic, I'm going to lose, so I'm not going to give a shit about it. But if you're not into Thatcher, then it would hurt your feelings on this match. Jack. If you are into Thatcher, it won't maybe affect it. But Jack Morris was the guy that really shined here. The post match is what really I was going to say blow people away, but the crowd was quite quiet during his appearance. But Jake Lee has officially jumped over from All Japan to Noah, former heavyweight champion over there in All Japan, former world champion over there in All Japan. Jake Lee officially. Well, I don't know about officially, but definitely it appears officially Noah. It's
a big get. Like I can't stress to people enough. It is an actual big get for them. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm huge on Jake Lee. I've been up and down with him in my All Japan experience. But for Noah, who's looking for talent, he could be a very good get because there is really good stuff in him, and then there's not so good stuff in him sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you get him, you possibly get Mr. Ibushi. You're having a good younger adds to this company. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, and like we said, it looks like they are planning to team him up with Jack Morris. If you heard our interview with Jack Morris, he's definitely a tag team guy as well as Jake Lee. So I'm interested to see how they work together.
They're gonna beat freaking Kojima and Segura.
That is going to be
I do love Kojima and Segura, by the way.
Yeah, I want to see the level of care that they put in them. But someone over in the room, someone in that room loves Jack Morris because they're pushing him hard.
Guys, I want to announce I'm in the room.
I knew it. I knew that. I knew it. I knew
I
that's
hope
why.
I want to have him back on by the end of the year.
I was thinking about this morning that we should try to get Jack Morris on again and maybe do like yearly updates of Jack Morris.
Yeah, now we know who Jack Morris is.
I tweeted that out. I was like, I think we now know who this guy is because he is someone, and they're pushing him hard because not only he's getting a lot of wins. His first win was his first match was against Kaito Kiyomiya, and he won that one. He just beat Timothy Thatcher, that is probably on his way out to WWE. And they seemingly are teaming up with the former heavyweight champion of another company from All Japan, which is a weird sort of longtime rival with Noah. So I think that is fascinating to watch, and I'm interested to see how it all plays out for Jackie Morris. I did not see the junior heavyweight title match. Did you see that match? You did?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I was trying to mute myself. I thought it was pretty good. I wanted to see it because Miyawaki just came back from his excursion. This guy to me is the junior ace that this company desperately needed.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I think he's very talented. I think he's gonna be really, really good. He has a great look about him. I think he's a bigger guy, so I think he could probably make a step up to heavyweight in a couple of years, but for now, I think he should be.
So he's not the junior ace.
Well, he's probably going to be I think he'll be the junior ace for a few years. He didn't win, but he just came back and they gave him a title shot, so I think they know that he's going to be good. And I know Amakusa just won the belt. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
That's very good. Yeah, I also just saw that they announced Amakusa versus Kaito Kiyomiya special singles match.
So that's cool. I like when they do the junior versus. I like when any company does that.
I also just saw that Noah announced they're announcing stuff for their 1-9 show. Timothy Thatcher is on the card. So
Jake Lee also got his first match. He's facing Inamura.
Yes. So sorry, Inamura.
That'll be pretty good though. I think that's a good. Inamura's a great first match for a lot of people. Truthfully.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him.
Yeah. GHC tag team title match, Satoshi Kojima and Takeshita Sakura defeated Kenta and Naomichi Marufuji. I'm sort of surprised that we didn't flip it to Kenta and Marufuji. I'm surprised it's still in Kojima Sagura, but again, it's Noah, so the booking decisions are all over the place. I thought this match was pretty good, but otherwise, yeah.
I thought this match was great. I love Kenta and Segura slapping the shit out of each other. This is the Kenta I want.
Yeah.
This is all I asked for. Yeah. He does it in Noah once a year now on this very show, and then he's going to go back to Bullet Club, and I'm going to hate it.
Yeah.
This is the Kenta we need everywhere because he still has it in him. They just don't let him bring it out all the time. Kojima's great, and Marufuji's broken down, but he's still solid enough.
I agree. GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match.
I didn't watch this.
You didn't watch
I like KZ, but KZ was not enough for me to watch it.
That's fair. I did not see this match. It was a title change, so Aita and Ogawa still have I don't care. GHC Heavyweight title match. Kaito Kiyomiya defeats Kano. This is definitely the match of the show.
This is the Kaito Kiyomiya that I've been waiting to see.
Kano and Kiyomiya have a fantastic rivalry. All their matches kill. And
I didn't like their last one, but
well, yeah, most of their
love their last one. It was good, but it wasn't great.
Sure. But this match killed, and Mr. Fist King over there definitely almost killed Kiyomiya. So,
oh my god, the camera work! You pointed this out on Twitter. The camera work was perfection.
Didn't cut to a wide. They could have cut to a wide, but they left it.
Yeah. I think Kiyomiya. This is the first time I sat there. I was like, this is the complete Kiyomiya because he uses the Muto stuff, but not to ruin his own stuff, right? And the fact that he still feels like Kaito Kiyomiya, but he also has, I like the way he does the Shining Wizard, where he kind of like pushes the head into the knee.
Yes,
I like that
new little tougher angle. Sort of thing.
Yeah, this match was excellent. Yeah. Best GAC heavyweight title match since I have no idea.
Yeah, this is very good.
It's been a long while.
This is very good. I think I've seen better matches out of these two as well. I don't think this is their best match. I went very high on it still, but
their match from last year's The New Year might be just like the better one.
Yeah,
But
no.
they're both great.
I just keep want to see. This is how this is. No one needs to build around more of these matches. I don't know why we do
This
them
is what
once a
Noah
year.
can do.
Let's do this rivalry.
Where's
Finally,
Shiozaki, by the
what's
way?
that?
Let's get Shiozaki back too, please.
Yeah, and then throw in Shiozaki as an intermediary. But that's
and then have Ibushi beat Kaito's ass. Oh, sorry.
Oh shit. Speaking about beating ass, right before we go, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Great Muta. Not really a great match, not really anything special, but this is spectacle nonetheless.
Yeah, someone said it to me perfectly. This was like Rock and Hogan. Like the match itself, like you didn't get amazing work out of it, but the novelty of it,
yeah,
the pomp and circumstance of it, it was awesome. And I actually love the finish of Shinsuke taking the mist from Muta, spitting in his face and then hitting the Kinshasa. By the way, Shinsuke is such a megastar in Japan. It's crazy. The violin entrance was phenomenal. Muta losing and then getting up and leaving was, right on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Muta, for staying true to yourself.
I do think I saw people saying that Nakamura didn't look as good as he did when he was in New Japan, and it's not the old Nakamura. And my thought, I was like, well, first of all, that was like 10 years ago at this point. Second of all, he is against Muto. I mean, come on. Let's be honest.
He's against Muto. He's against the bad version. I think Muta brings down Muto matches even more.
Sure. Because he works less.
Yeah, like he just does the mist.
Yeah.
But I thought for a Muta, this was my favorite Muta match in who the hell knows? I couldn't even tell you. This is the best of his retirement run as Muta.
And I definitely believe that Shinsuke Nakamura should bring the mist to WWE, especially if Asuka's not using it anymore. I think that's a great move. I do think that before he does it, like the movie The Green Mile, he should suck the mist out of his opponent, and then he should use it. I think that is ultimately how we should approach this WWE. So Triple H, if you're hearing this, that's what you got to do. But yeah, no, this is really good. Nakamura looked pretty good in it. He looked better than he typically does in WWE nowadays. And Muta, he barely moves. Did his job. He didn't really give any props to Nakamura in classic Muta fashion, but whatever. I
he didn't let me down, baby.
I accept Muta not giving props when it's Muta, but when it's Muto, I want the props. But it is whatever. But I thought ultimately this match, it was a spectacle, and that's what we knew we were going to get, and I think it lived up to that spectacleness perfectly. All right, so that is it for the show proper. But if you are watching this, if you're listening to this, I'm just going to do a clap here. Perfect. That's an editing thing for me to do later. We are going to take a quick intermission. When we come back, we will be joined by the Chris Samsa, from the analytics guys from New Japan's color commentary team, but also of course of what is his website, Sport of Pro Wrestling. I don't know why I forgot that. Sport of Pro Wrestling. We will be joined by him to preview Wrestle Kingdom. We will come back from brief intermission with Chris Samsa. Stay tuned. Perfect. Hello, everybody. We are back from the intermission. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We are back. If you're listening on the audio, you heard nothing. We are now joined still by Scotty, but we are joined by Chris Samsa at the Chris Samsa on Twitter. He is from the Sport of Pro Wrestling website. He is also the resident stats and figures man for the English color commentary team for New Japan. We are now about to preview Wrestle Kingdom 17 in the Tokyo Dome, January 4th. It's around the corner, baby. Another year, another Wrestle Kingdom. This time, only one show, so I'm a little thankful for that. I love me some New Japan content, but the two shows were a lot when especially that upper of the card there. But thank you so much, Chris, for joining us to preview New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom. We are so glad to have you on.
Thank you for having me. We were talking offline. I love that this is a part of what I get to do. I get to run around the internet and talk to people about one of my favorite things, which is New Japan, and one of my favorite events with New Japan. Probably my second favorite event with New Japan, which is Wrestle Kingdom. My first being the G1. But yeah, it's a fun time of year, and the excitement is a little more palpable this year than it has been the past couple of years, and I think part of it is that single night. It's one big clean card, and I'm excited to get into it and dig into it and see what you guys are thinking too.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about a vibe check about the whole event. I think definitely it being a one show versus two shows, I think for me is definitely helpful. I think there are aspects of the show where I'm super high on. There's aspects of the show where I'm like, I wish this was a little more, meat on the bone.
Just say Carl Anderson.
Okay, all right, but I'll say it. I thought I was hoping the lights would be brighter, but that it is what it is. But what's your sort of vibe on the whole event moving forward? I mean, are you expecting a show of the year already?
It's gonna be good. I'll say that. We know that. Yes. The floor is high, but what I will say, so I'm going to just take it straight from my perspective.
Please do.
Okay, I'm looking at a Word document that I'm not even done with that I'm going to send to Kevin and Chris. Mm-hmm. And it's 18 pages long, and it has 64 different tables included in it.
Oh, you're speaking my language. You're speaking my language.
So there's that. Think about having to turn that around less than 24 hours later and send another one. So I can't explain my excitement when they announced when we announced the single night Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, good. I don't have to stay up and produce another document. Now, some of it was already done, right?
Sure,
for the 2-night things, but I mean, the main event stuff is where the meat is on the bones, and that's where my work, I think, typically starts to shine. Yeah. So, very excited for the single night. Very excited that there's clearly a focus on, I guess, English-speaking talent and English-speaking, and the English-speaking audience, for that matter. Which, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, because of a pandemic, we kind of had gotten away from. We're obviously not going to hit the heights of early 2020 Wrestle Kingdom, sure, which was just 40,000 people in the Tokyo Dome, legitimate reasons to do 2 nights, right? And just sell the tickets and have a great time. But this one feels way different from the past 2 years. Definitely more fan excitement. I'm getting more engagement on social media, and even situations like this, you guys want to talk about Wrestle Kingdom and all that, and I know you guys talk about everything anyway, but it definitely has more attention, and part of that is the rumor mill, and part of that's Carl Anderson, believe it or not, and part of that's the women's title. But there's so many things that go into a big event like this and making it successful. And I think for the situation that New Japan is in right now, they've done about everything they can do to bolster that interest. And that's really exciting for me to see that kind of come back and to see New Japan find its lane again in a post AEW world too. So
Yes,
because that's a big piece to it.
That's a great point. I'm definitely interested to see how it all plays out. That's sort of the dialogue of obviously 2021 being a sort of for the half of the year practically an off year, or maybe a third of the year, or whatever. And then that sort of 2021, people sort of the dialogue I feel like around it has sort of been sort of a rebuilding year. We're shuffling the card a little bit. And I think now is sort of, especially with Bushiroad, really focusing on Western advancement for New Japan and obviously Stardom as well. I think we're definitely looking towards like this is like putting our foot forward, our best foot forward, to showcase to as many different households we can, whether it be AEW fans, whether it be Joshi fans, whether it be Sasha stands, or whether it be the Carl crew. That I think all of those are representing here. I think that's obviously a great moment for them. Scotty, give me a vibe check. How are you feeling about this show?
I mean, naturally, I'm always excited for Wrestle Kingdom. Like, I haven't had the problem of some people the past few years, like, oh, it's it's fine. Like, I'm just naturally excited to stay up until 6, 7, 8 a.m. without any sleep because it's like
well, you do that. You do that normally. You do that normally for Joshi Stardom
right,
stuff.
True. That's true. But like we're back to the one night, so it's even more exciting. Like like you both said, it's what you look forward to at the start of every year. Like this whole week in Japan obviously is humongous. Like the past 2 weeks have been great. But this is the show. This is the show. This is the one with all the rumors. It only makes me more excited. But I didn't even need the big rumors to be excited about Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada and Jay White. I don't need that.
Mhm.
Like they're just gonna give me great wrestling no matter what. This is top to bottom. This is the most excited I've been about a Wrestle Kingdom card. I don't even want to say 2020. I might say 2019. I might even cheat a little bit just because of the one night aspect. It changed. It's just so much better.
Yeah.
And New Year's Dash is back, which is always exciting.
Yes, I love me a big old Mystery Vortex card. Well, let's get to the preview formally. I know you had some questions beforehand, Scotty, for Chris here. Do you want to go through that first? You're going to filter them throughout.
I was gonna save the New Year's Dash question for later, because I do want to just see if he has any feelings about it. With the new, not new, but it does feel kind of new. It feels with the comeback, it kind of needs to be big in a lot of ways.
Well, do you want to do like a quick New Year's Dash preview with Chris? I think that's not a bad idea. Chris, what do you have? Chris, can you pull up your New Year's Dash tables real quick?
Yeah, yep. It's an empty Word doc, and I get to sleep, and no work for me except I like to keep an open line if I can. If something pops up, I like to send a DM to someone.
You'll have that KOPW
sitting at the table. Yeah, that's true. I guess. Damn. I am gonna have to work.
Sorry.
I would have figured that out.
Kevin Kelly's just DMing you live in the
like,
show.
Hey, man,
I need some stats, guys.
You got anything? No, he rarely asks. Honestly, I just forced it upon him. So New Year's Dash is. I'll just give an overview of what it is. So it's on January 5th, and it'll be. It's a much smaller venue. I think. Where are we this year? Tokyo City.
I'm pulling up right now. The Oda City.
Oda City.
The Oda Award. Oh wow! I did not know that.
Which is a great venue. It's a great room.
Usually Corkin?
It's been Oda for a while. They did the Tokyo Dome City Hall. There's so many. Yeah. They're all within a block of each other, so I don't know that. Like to the wrestlers, I don't think it matters.
Somewhere in the same building, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oda's a great venue, but so smaller. But this year, and under normal circumstances or previously, New Year's Dash has been a mystery card that gets announced at the beginning of the night. Now, this year, we've taken that a whole nother level, and it's a mystery vortex, like a classic mystery vortex where even as the card's going on, you have no idea what's happening until theme music hits.
Yeah.
Which will keep me awake for sure.
Yep.
So you got to wonder if anyone's showing up on the 4th, if they're also going to show up on the 5th, right? So if we're going to talk about Sasha or Mercedes,
or Monet. I don't know. There's so
Well,
many
yeah,
names
yeah.
floating around.
I just keep calling her Sasha. It makes my life easier for now. Until we have a
But if
name.
she appears on the 4th,
Mhm.
will
Yeah.
she then also appear on the 5th and maybe
Right.
wrestle?
Mm.
Right? Like
That'd be crazy.
that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. Maybe they're gonna see what the subscriber numbers look like for that next day to see if it's worth giving it up. But so it's kind of it's the fallout, but that's also kind of the official beginning of the new year. Whereas Wrestle Kingdom I see as kind of the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
It's the end
Mhm.
of a year, even
Yeah.
though it is, we've obviously crossed over January 1st here, but New Year's Dash and truthfully, the past few have been pretty uneventful.
Mhm.
But those were after 2 nights of Tokyo Dome.
Mhm.
The last really eventful one
The Liger one,
was
2020, right? Liger.
yeah. Well,
When
Liger's.
Jericho did what he did, right?
So I was gonna say 2018 was probably the most really
Yeah.
memorable one where there were actual big surprises.
Mhm.
19 was everyone expected to see Kenny and the Bucks
Yeah.
and to do a send off, and they just didn't.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which tells you a little bit about how that relationship was sitting at the time.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there was one they did it in 2020, I think, as well.
Because 2020, I believe they started with the Liger
It was
retirement
yeah,
ceremony, and then it was just a bunch of tags. If I don't
was
remember.
it was very uneventful on the wrestling side, but we got that great gif of Hiroshi Tanahashi crying.
Yeah.
Which I like to go back to anytime I need a crying gif.
Yeah.
And
then I don't recall anything from 2021. Did they have it this year? I don't even remember.
I don't remember.
I don't think they did.
I don't think we did it. Yeah, I don't think they did it.
No.
I could be totally wrong. Those 2-night Wrestle Kingdoms become kind of a blur. So
That's fair.
So New Year's Dash will be I would bet, kind of like you were saying, it's going to be really eventful.
Yeah.
Because
cool. That's
there's some eventful things happening, and I think, and I've said this in a couple of different places, but and this is kind of my pitch for Wrestle Kingdom and New Japan right now. Like, I really think right now is the time to jump into New Japan because it feels like there's a changing of the guard. It feels like there's a kind of generational shift happening, and like this is kind of that moment. And you can kind of see that with some of the guys that are even left off this card.
Mm-hmm.
But it does feel like we're seeing a lot of new things happening. Yeah. We're seeing units disband, and New Japan units do not disband. No. Like, they are forever units. So just to see all that, and we're seeing the young guys get quick pushes, so New Year's Dash, I think we're going to see some big moments. We might see maybe a returning young lion who's been on excursion, some things that are notable, right? Sure. And those are the types of things that we like to see on New Year's Dash that'll then generate some buzz headed into the next tour.
The Suzuki-gun disbandment kind of piqued my interest a little extra, because I was like, there's gonna be some free agents just hanging around. You never know,
right?
Headed into that show. But yeah, it's a show. I never have stayed up for the New Year's Dash, because it's like, all right, I stayed up for Wrestle Kingdom, that's enough. This year I will be, because it does feel like you said, there will be shock, there will be surprise, and especially the way they booked it, it almost feels like a guarantee.
Plus, you also have no idea who else might have flown into Japan.
Yeah,
we have so many other companies working with New Japan right now that who else might have flown in on that flight. And, like you said, there are some people that aren't on this card that you would think would be on the card. Maybe they could be flying to Seattle, who knows? So maybe there's more of a trade than just, like Omega or something. So maybe there's something there. I mean, the Rambo is also happening, so you never know.
Yeah, I don't like to speculate on that, because I like to joke that, like, it's just a Wednesday night TV. It just happens to be a Wednesday night, so everyone's like, but it's all on January 4th. It's like, but
it happened last year too. I think that's why.
Well, right, but there might be something. I don't know. There's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
That I can't quite pinpoint, and I can usually read the tea leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I I don't think anyone's. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, but I think if there's an announcement of any sort of AEW involvement with the Yokohama Wrestle Kingdom show that's happening later in the month, then I would expect to see someone running in on Dynamite in Seattle.
Yeah, that's a great point.
If there's an actual announcement that that's what that show is about, because we have no idea what the content of that show is going to be. So
great point.
That's true.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Well, without further ado, I think it's time we finally get to Wrestle Kingdom 17. Let's start off with the first of 3 opening matches here to kick off Wrestle Kingdom. We have, speaking about young talent, we have a little bit of Young Lion talk here, just real quickly. I don't know if we have a whole lot to say for the opening matches, but let's get into it. Rohei Oiwa. I still haven't landed the name.
Is it Oiwa?
Oiwa. Versus
like a punk and then wa.
Versus new Young Lion here, debuting Young Lion here, Bolton Oleg. Or Bolton the Fridge Oleg, as we like to call him here. Chris, let's start with you since you are a guest. Thoughts on this opening exhibition match between a debuting Young Lion and someone that I've likened what I'm seeing out of Rohei, despite what I can't say about his name. I'm liking what I see out of him. So what do you think about potential for this match?
So it's a 3-minute time limit exhibition. So my bet, if I'm a betting man, and I am, would be it's going to go to a draw.
Yeah.
Or Bolton Oleg's going to come out and beat the ever-loving hell out of Oiwa, which could be fun too. As much Oiwa's awesome, and the man has quads for days. Like he was in the New Japan bodybuilding competition, and they did one picture of him and one picture of just his thighs, and like they're incredible. But Bolton Oleg is a massive man also, and he was introduced by Yuji Nagata at the Big October event.
Mm-hmm.
And what Nagata said is basically like, I look at him and I want him in the ring as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And then they debut him in the Tokyo Dome. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Like, this dude, it takes wrestlers years, even in Japan, just to get booked on a Tokyo Dome card, even within New Japan, even the Young Lions. So this guy gets a singles match. Yes, it's the opener. Yes, it's 3 minutes, but it's about him. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is about him and featuring him, and we'll see where it lands, and we'll see how he looks. But, he's 29 years old. He's humongous. And I know people are really, really excited about him there, especially Yuji Nagata, who's huge on the talent development side of New Japan these days. So, and recruitment, if you've been seeing where he's been spending his time. But
I have been.
He's been real. He's trying hard. He's trying
I don't know. I don't know. It didn't really. I don't think he landed the guy he wanted to, I guess, because he popped up this morning. But yeah, so this, as opening matches go, what more could you ask for besides, a debuting massive dude that doesn't look like anyone else in the company?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Scotty, any quick thoughts about the 3-minute time limit match?
Yeah, anytime I feel like Young Lions are wrestling in the Tokyo Dome and not in a Rambo, it's probably a big deal, to just pay attention. Or, it's going to be a match that probably a lot of people miss overall. Internationally, they may not even watch the pre-show. But this one is the one I'm keeping an eye on. I saw the 3-minute limit, and that just intrigued me more than anything, because that's like the test match. And like you said, I was like, this Oleg might destroy this poor guy.
Yeah.
That might be what they're doing here. They might just like have a Young Lion just walk in and absolutely wreck it. That'd be pretty cool. I'm very intrigued.
That would be a big shakeup to Young Lion division right there. It's typically a lot of draws, a lot of trades of wins, and having a guy that can potentially go out there and just crush people, that feels like a big shakeup. That really feels nice. Let's talk about the New Japan Rambo, aka also the KOPW Right to Challenge match. It is also happening on the opening match number 2 here. Before you get to your stats on all the potential participants of this Rambo, Chris, Scotty, what do you think about this Rambo, about the right to challenge for the KOPW belt, I should say?
You know, it's funny. Last year was one of my favorite Rambos because Shima showed up. And not only did Shima show up, he won. Or not won, but he
Yeah,
made it to the
in the
next
way,
night.
in a way he did.
Yeah. So like that kind of has me excited for this year, especially with like all the relationships they have, and you know, they're working with other companies in Japan more than they had been the past couple of years. So you never know, right? You never know. And with the right to challenge aspect, it does make it more intriguing for me personally, because it's like, all right, this is gonna lead to a match the next day. So it's gonna like it'll be good people, right? Like I don't know. Tai Chi's not on this card. Feels like a layup is one of the guys for me, but we'll see.
That's a great point. I mean, yeah, this is typically the great spot to throw in like Chase Owens, and he has a fantastic run, and like that's it. But now that we're adding the KOPW aspect to it, we're giving the match stakes, or more important stakes, for the KOPW. As much as people huff and haul at the KOPW, I have gotten to the point this year of really enjoying it. The belt, sorry, yeah, the belt now. I've gotten to this point this year of really enjoying the belt, trophy belt, whatever is happening. So I'm interested. I liked the Rambo last year. I typically like the Rambos. They're fun, nice little opening matches. So I'm excited to see it. Chris, let's talk about the Rambo. Who you got the stats? Who's winning this thing? There's no participants announced for it, I believe. At least not on the website. So who's winning it?
No participants. We have no idea how many participants.
It's 100, totally random. 100 participants.
And it's the final four that advance. So like in a typical Rambo or Rumble, right? The final four, that's where you start to shake some things out. But in this particular Rambo, this is not the first time we've done it this way.
Yeah.
But like Toriano one year literally never had to enter the match because there were three guys left, and then Yano's music hit and he was the last guy in.
Yeah.
And then he moved on, which I thought was clever. I thought it was cute.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I will say, I have no idea. I don't know where we're headed. I don't know what, the KOPW really did get wrapped up with Shingo and Taichi last year. And they honestly, they really established what this could be, and they had some awesome matches. They had some, fun stipulations, good matches, different, right? And I think Dave went 5 stars on their match at Takataichi Mania.
I was about to bring that up. That was a great match right there,
and that was a KOPW match, right? So that's a big deal. It was good. It was great. Obviously, how do you go wrong with Shingo and Taichi in a match with some stakes? But the Rambos, they're usually fun. You keep an eye out for the returning veterans. You keep an eye out for the outsiders. I would look at the Glate roster because I think that's, and that, obviously that's where the Shima ties came in.
My roster right there.
Yeah. It's your people. But I would imagine that's, that there's a dotted line between New Japan and them. And I think that maybe somebody new pops up there, because we've seen Shima, we've seen Lindaman, we've seen
T-Hawk.
We've seen T-Hawk,
not
right?
Enough of T-Hawk though. Not enough of T-Hawk.
No, not nearly enough, honestly. I thought those guys were going to be around, me too. New Japan, for regulars.
We only got Lindaman.
So right, and Lindaman's in it now. So yeah, I truly no idea where this is headed. I don't know if anyone knows how many entrants there's going to be, so I don't really know how to even as I'm watching it, what am I dissecting or looking at? But good energy. They bring some energy into the building. This is the pre-show in general is pretty solid when it comes down to as pre-shows go, right? When you're looking at, I was just looking at the cards for the past couple of Wrestle Kingdoms, and the first half of both nights cards looked less intriguing than this. Yeah. And I'm talking main cards, right? Yeah. So at least these we have something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, there's something interesting up and down this card. If not, I think if I'm not mistaken, there are stakes to every single match as well. So almost every single match is a title match. So yeah, no, I'm very excited. I think this is a well put together card. Let's also talk about the last opening match of the show. The last opening match? That sounds weird.
6 locks for the Rambo.
Yeah.
Gone.
This is the Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag match. 30-minute time limit here. It's Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima. I should say, weirdly, New Japan Noah's Satoshi Kojima and Togi Makabe teaming up all together, taking on the team of Tiger Mask, a factionless Minoru Suzuki, and Tatsumi Fujinami makes his yearly appearance in New Japan. Chris, thoughts on this? This dad 6-man.
So this is the Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag, and I think this is gonna be cool because they've timed it out. Like they've given a time that this match is gonna hit the ring, which is 2:20 a.m. Eastern.
Yes.
And what's gonna happen is I'll just read it. So, like, at the Tokyo Dome show, fans will be given red glow stick bracelets with the idea that at 2:20 a.m. Eastern, the Tiger Mask, Suzuki, and Tatsumi Fujinami versus Nagata, Kojima, and Makabe match will start as a tribute to Inoki, and they want people to show their glow sticks to turn the Tokyo Dome red, which is Inoki's color.
Mm-hmm.
They will also be giving away special commemorative tickets for collectors with Inoki, plus an old school design of Okada versus White. So this will look pretty cool if the crowd is engaged in it, and I think they will be.
Yeah, I think you give a prop to the crowd, they're going to be. If I've seen any concert, if you give a prop to the crowd, they're into it immediately. You just have to make sure they do it at this point in the show, not any point earlier. Scotty, how are you feeling about this match?
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun little tag match. I've watched Kojima in Noah. I've watched Nagata in All Japan. They have plenty to give still. They're and with the Inoki aspect of this, I'm sure all 6 will put a lot of care into it, which should make it a really good pre-show match.
Is Tiger Mask still holding the title somewhere?
I believe
he did
lost
lose
it.
He did.
He
lose
lost
it.
that.
Yeah.
He looked good too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and Suzuki obviously is Suzuki. So
I was gonna say
he has yet to look bad ever.
I was gonna say with Nagata and All Japan, Kojima and Noah, we really missed out on our Makabe Gleat run. We really missed out on that Gleat run from Makabe.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Please,
that man doesn't work any harder than he has to. Okay,
and he will get devoured in Gleat.
He's a legend. He's a legend for the amount of work that he puts in, for the amount of clout he carries.
Well, let's get to the show proper. First match, 60-minute time limit, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title match. It is the champions, Francisco Akira and TJP, defending their titles against the winners of the Super Junior Tag League, Leo Rush and Yo. This is, essentially a repeat from the opening match of the Super Junior Tag League, which we talked about on here. We greatly loved that. I think if we didn't talk about it proper, it was definitely a match of the week where we just reveled over it. I don't think revel's the word. We just loved the match so much. It was fantastic, and kicking off. I think this is, following the the light sticks, the Rambo, the 3-minute squash probably. This is, for a proper show, this is the classic New Japan formula of kicking off hot, putting on a match that we know is going to be great. And obviously we have already seen from a month or two ago that this match can already going to be great. I said at the time, if I'm not mistaken, that it felt like they had more on the table. And obviously now knowing that this match is happening at Wrestle Kingdom, it's time to put it out on the table, I think. Chris, let's talk about this tag match. Let's talk about this junior heavyweight tag match. How are you feeling? Who do you think's going to win? Give me everything you got.
I love a junior heavyweight tag team opener because it's just classic New Japan. Mm-hmm. I feel like this match is going to hit the ring and I'm going to feel like it's 2017 again. But that's a certain internal feeling, it's going to take me back. So, and what I will say is that the junior tag titles don't change hands in the Tokyo Dome quite as frequently as you would think.
Really?
Yeah, so they've been defended in the Tokyo Dome 23 times. They've changed hands 11, which is a lot, but it's also not nearly as many as the heavy tags, and we'll talk about that. But So, and they had a banger to start Tag League. I think Yo and Leo Rush only got better as the Tag League went on. Better, crisper, cleaner. TJP and Akira, they're firing on all cylinders. They're a great tag team. So this is primed to be a sleeper for maybe not like match of the night because there's so much on this card, but like to really set the stage for what the rest of the night's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Scotty,
this is
go ahead.
Yeah, this is where one night benefits us all, right? It's like this isn't gonna be after 3 trios matches where to get everyone on the card. This is gonna kick us off hot. I think Leo Rush is, I sing the praises of Leo Rush all the time. I think Leo Rush is fantastic, and he's brought out of Yo, I think, what a lot of people hope to see in Yo for a while. I actually like Yo, so I haven't been like super critical of him, but these two are really good together. And like, Chris said, Akira and TJP have been fantastic as champions. This does feel like a 50-50 type match because it's like, and it fits, your stat of 11 out of 23. So as 50-50 as it gets, right? I think Leo Rush and Yo, I want Leo Rush in Best of Super Junior so bad. So like, give him the titles and make sure he stays here, please.
He's got to make it to May.
I know. It's asking a lot.
Yeah,
but I enjoy him. I love Leo, so I'm excited to see what he does in the big dome.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see what he does. I think there's also the we sort of already forgetting, the sort of weird seeds that they're sort of planting between Leo and Yo. They're not really on the same page at the end of it, but they ended up winning. There was some friction at the end of the Super Junior Tag League in their final match. Will that play a factor in this match? I feel like Akira and TJP could easily squirm the ray and hurt that relationship a little bit more, just as things are starting to come together for Yo a little bit better. So I think that is an interesting story point that we got to bring up. That sort of will they, won't they? But will they make it together? Is it going to work out? Yeah. Are they going to make it out? Are they going to squeak through and get this win? I think that's very interesting to me as well. But all right, let us talk about the IWGP Women's Championship match. This is the second match on the card with the title holder Kairi, former Kairi Hojo and Kairi Sane, defending her title against Tam Nakano. Scotty, as the resident Joshi head, let us throw to you first to talk about this IWGP Women's title match.
Yeah, I said this when the first title match, to crown the inaugural champion happened. This match is just as important in a lot of ways. It's the first defense. It's in the Tokyo Dome. It's the first women's singles match on a Wrestle Kingdom show. There are a lot of stakes here that, whether they're the second match, the first match, the fifth match, it doesn't matter where they are on this card. They are going to go out there and deliver. I did think when they picked Tam, it was a little interesting because she is a wrestler that if you don't follow, I'll just say she's an interesting one for those who don't know. And as I've said on the show, she's a storytelling wrestler, but Kairi's Kairi. It doesn't really matter who you put her against. She's going to deliver. The one thing that I do have a problem with this match is that I think everyone is so focused on the aftermath of the match that this could be overlooked a little bit. But I do hope that these two get, at least 10, 14, 15 minutes and they just go out there, put on a show, and then you can roll out Sasha Banks. But I do think that they will deliver with the big stage. I have all the confidence in them, and Kairi's a star. She knows she's been in big buildings before. This isn't her first rodeo.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about before with Tam Nakano is that for me personally, she can be hit or miss sometimes, but I think big stage, bright lights with against Kairi.
She did it last year.
Yeah, she's gonna show up. Match. She's just certainly Oh yeah, she did show. Yeah, that tag match she did great in. She's gonna show up. She's gonna put in a great performance. I think her and Kairi can put together a great short little story there. Tam obviously, prefers, I feel like, long-term storytelling versus the one match thing, but she can
It's
still
better
nail
when it's
that.
not.
Yes, she can still nail this one. So I'm definitely excited. Chris, thoughts on this historic IWGP Women's Title match?
Well, Scott, you'll be proud. I watched the main event of what was it? Queendom?
Queendom, yeah.
Yeah.
I am proud of you.
So, I'm getting into it. And it was great.
I'm happy Kyrie did that for you.
Yeah, she did.
That's our crossover.
Yes, that's exactly it. So, but I liked the crossover match better.
Yeah.
I know this is not about that, but yeah. So I'm excited to see Kyrie get in there again. I hope they get some time. Kind of as you alluded to, like Kyrie's average singles match length in Stardom this year was 20 minutes. And I think that that's about right for like her pacing for her. Just what I know of her in WWE and then what I've seen of her past then. So I also hope they get some time because I'm hopeful that like as that match is in the ring, the excitement on say social media and also in the building is palpable, right?
Yeah.
So, that's one of those things that we're all going to need to be tweeting that this match is in the ring, right?
Yeah.
So that anybody who's interested in what might happen afterwards might clue themselves, pay the $7.40 or whatever to get some New Japan World. Man, the yen is down, so
now's the time. Right. Now's the time.
Get that $7 sub. So I think that I hope they get some time to like build that on their social media. If this is all a strategy, then they need to be that strategic with it.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity to start to build up the viewer base, because if she pops up after that match and they didn't do anything to hype that match was happening at that moment, they missed, they might miss some people.
Yeah, so. I'm openly nervous. Like this is like I get nervous for Stardom overall just because like I cover them to the point where like I just want them to do well. I hope that they push this match as much as they possibly can in all the right directions, because you want all eyes on Sasha, obviously, but you should want eyes on the two people that
the match,
led to that. And I think they will have a great match, as long as they get the time. Which,
yeah. I mean, I figure they need 16 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would be the sweet spot.
That's probably the sweet spot. Yeah.
I was gonna say, even if they do a short match, I still think, if they still did like a 10-minute match, I still think they will pull out a great match there. But no, I totally agree that a longer match is interesting.
You're trying to establish the title.
Yes.
Right.
That's a big part of it. Like you just had the last time this title was on the line, it was a main event, right? So you do want to establish that title, and I feel like if you went right to a 10-minute match, it's like,
I mean, and then the transition to what can potentially be the supposed post-match of this, if rumors have it.
I'm not going to be that guy, but it's happening.
Well, yeah, it's all 100%. It's interesting because I feel that Kyrie is a slam dunk winner of this match.
Yeah, that's not a question.
But the idea of, we talked about it when we were talking about Dream Queendom right before you came on, Chris, is that this obviously with what the belief is of what Bushiroad is doing here is this is part of the Western expansion of not just New Japan and Bushiroad, but especially Stardom. That there was that report saying that they believe that they can fill the void of women's wrestling in America, and this is part of that. And part of that is Julia being their world champion. Part of that is Kyrie being there, Bushiroad, New Japan, whatever's IWGP Women's Champion. Part of that is presumably bringing in a top star of America. So this 3-prong attack that Bushiroad and Stardom are putting together here, this is all meant to be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like Julia's on commentary during this match. And to have the world of Stardom title holder there as well, then you can also have Sasha Banks look at Julia as well, and what's going to happen there? Yokohama maybe, I don't know. But I think that sort of idea of this is all here to tell the Western audiences that this is what This is what Stardom can fill in your life, I guess, is what they're saying to me. But I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about what the potential is. I'm very excited about this match, and I'm very excited about the post match.
I've said this many times. I think they're potentially to play the game. They are adding the best U.S. women's wrestler I've seen in terms of in ring. So I'm excited for that aspect of it all. She's a star. She's not hiding that she's in Japan.
No,
not at all.
No, she is not.
So I mean, and I call it the CM Punk act. That's what we're doing here. We're doing we're not going to confirm it, but this whole entire thing is kind of set up around her, much like the Last Dance was for CM Punk returning to wrestling in AEW. Kind of feels like that. So I'm excited.
It's a little less than that.
Oh
though.
yeah.
It's not quite like
here's the Chicago guy coming in.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm in Chicago.
Yeah.
I was there. We knew what was happening, right?
Yeah.
It was just a matter of how. I think that there's some weird outside shot that it doesn't happen, but it would be really deflating.
Yeah.
How deflating would it be seeing
when
all these...
Kazani said what he said? He's like, she might be there. I was like, all right, well.
Yeah, that interview was that was probably the most telling.
Yeah.
There's some hints on the New Japan official English Twitter too. If you scroll through them, they're using the word "very" a lot in relation to this match.
Yeah,
which is probably just as close as they can get without spelling it out.
Yeah, they're trying to sell a thing. They're doing the CM Punk thing in the sense of we are trying to spell it out for you without saying the name.
It's essentially their version of the CM Punk thing, which is way less like cheeky, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's more like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Helps that she is, has been seen in Japan now multiple times.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
Why has she been there that long?
Just to train,
I don't know.
probably.
To be at the birthday party. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
She didn't want to miss the party.
She's just living her dream.
Hey, she is. It's been a while.
Good on her. Good on her. I mean, at this point, do it. This
is literally the one thing I wanted from her. So I appreciate her going out of her way to do this.
Yeah, your dream match for a very long time, Scotty, has been Mayu versus Sasha. So
I mean, if I don't get it, then that's good because I promised I would retire. So because I didn't think it was going to happen. Now it's like,
now it's on
exciting.
your doorstep practically.
Probably going to happen. Yeah.
Might happen this year.
It was a good run, folks.
Let's talk about the third match here. IWGP Tag Team Championship match. This is FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood defending their titles against the winners of the World Tag League, Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto. I know you have some stats that don't look favorable to FTR here, Chris. And on the streak that they've been having with their other titles, with the AAA title, with the Ring
of Honor.
Thank you, Ring of Honor title. I forgot what I was going to say. With the Ring of Honor title, they're not been on a good streak as of late. How bad is it looking for FTR?
Well, these titles have changed hands in 10 consecutive Tokyo Dome events and 13 of the last 15.
Oof.
So, it's not looking great for streaks have to end, but 10 in a row is rough.
You think Kevin Kelly's pulling out the streak is over?
I mean, the last time the titles were successfully defended in the Tokyo Dome was on January 4th, 2013, when Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer successfully defended against Hiroki Goto and Carl Anderson.
Ooh.
Bright lights, baby. So, I mean, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
it'd be very Goto-esque, though.
So here's the thing. I think as I was looking at FTR just as a whole and what they have going on right now, if they're going to retain one of them in any of these kind of big matches they have, this is probably the one because if other rumors are to be believed, there's a chance that Yokohama show is kind of a Japanese version of Forbidden Door, which means you'd want FTR back on there, maybe on a more featured match against someone like Aussie Open.
Which maybe that's a lot of people are picking them as the winners of the tag league here, so maybe that's the idea.
Well, right. So they didn't do that here. So are they then going to do that there? If that's the case, and if that's the layout, Goto and Yoshihashi, as much as they're becoming kind of the tag team of this generation right now, like they're really being built up as that. And I think they're going to stick with that.
Yeah.
They can stand a loss, and no one's really going to think much about it. This is not like the Briscoes losing 3 in a row to FTR. Like Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, like they're not that protected.
Yeah.
Though, they are in a way that they always want to be relevant challengers, but they could take a loss here. No one would really think anything of it, except for, me, because I'm looking at a list of title changes right now, and that would be a really big deal.
Yeah.
Now, there also could be, and I'll just say here, just to maybe break some hearts, but, we always could have maybe like a title change, maybe do some shenanigans from Aussie Open, I don't know, and then maybe Yokohama's a 3-way. I know everyone has feelings about 3-ways, but, that's...
Did that at the last Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
But
that way,
you're right.
the team doesn't have to get pinned. That's the politics of wrestling.
And you got to figure they want some domestic talent in all the big matches, no matter what. Even if you're doing a crossover show, that's still what you want.
Yeah, I mean that's what they like Scotty said. That's what they did for Forbidden Door. The same idea. I think that's. I think you're completely right, Chris. If this is, I don't know. I think if they're going to hold any titles, it's these ones. Assuming they're not, going to go after the AEW titles after this or whatever.
They lost to Gun Club. They're not. It's okay.
I just assume they win that rivalry and go off in the AEW territory. They go off, or they lose and they go off into the sunset into the indies of the big time wrestlings. And I was gonna say NWA as an indie feels wrong, but it is what it is. But I think if they're losing here, I don't know if it feels quite good. Maybe the rumors might be true that they're heading off and taking a quick break on doing an indie tour, like Dax has said, I believe.
He says a lot, to be fair.
He does say a lot. But I think it's possible, certainly, that if they're gonna break the streak, if the streak is gonna be over, if there's gonna be any team, FTR I think can possibly be the team. I think it's certainly possible there. So we'll see what unfolds for this match. Fourth match on the show, a match that I honestly forgot that this was on the show because it was built up months ago. But we're finally getting around to it, the New Japan World TV title match. And I'm just saying I forgot about it, but remembering that this match was happening, I got excited again. This match, we're so excited about this here. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita. We've talked about it on the show between Scotty and I. The youth movement that's happening in New Japan, we're very excited about. Scotty and I have talked about Narita, Umino, Uemura to a certain extent, if he comes back. Suji, if he comes back, if you're talking pillars, if you're talking future pillars, that's a solid 4-man lineup right there that I am personally would be, put all my money into. I'm very excited about this. Ren Narita is looking very good. I'm a big Shibata fan, so I'm totally okay seeing more Shibata-esque action. Zack Sabre Jr. has done a fantastic job. Not the same extent, but in Rev Pro, he had a fantastic match against Leon Slater, which, another guy with, not a whole lot of experience. So he is willing, and he did a great job, like, showcasing a lot of the other talent. So I think he will certainly be doing that with Ren Narita here as well. So I'm very excited about this match. I would love for a Zack Sabre Jr. singles title run. I personally don't know if it's in the cards with Ren Narita getting such the push that he is getting. But it also wouldn't surprise me if New Japan's like, no, we're going to go on the more veteran, more experienced guy here. Scotty, how do you feel about the New Japan World TV title?
This is the best title they could have added. because it's so different from everything else. The 15-minute time limit. Me and Chris talked about this, kind of with the high speed stuff and why, we talked about it with Historic Crossover and how Stardom should have showed that more in that show. But this is, while they're not going to be wrestling high speed, there is a pace to it now with the 15-minute time limit. And I loved the tournament that they did. It was small, but it was great. Like the Ishii and Narita match, that was excellent. And it excites me because these two are shockingly excellent. This is like, you know how you were talking about like with the junior tag. It won't be like a match of the night type thing, but it's going to be one of those that jumps off the card. I think when you look at it, I expect this to be with the match that follows. It's going to be very enjoyable. To just be frank, but I would crown Narita. Like, just keep going with him, right? It just feels like you want him to be a big deal. Shooter's a big deal. Like, he's teaming with Keiji Muto and Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's as big as you can get without having a singles match or a title match. Keep going, Ren Narita. I think this title feels built for him in a lot of ways.
Chris,
that's what I was going to say. I think the title feels like it's built for Narita, but when I look at New Japan, I think of two pretty major and pretty straightforward priorities that they have right now, which is Western expansion again and youth movement. Either one of these guys will serve either of those. I mean, Zach's not young, but the thing about these matches is that every title match with this title is going to be posted for free on New Japan World and on YouTube. And they're probably going to continue on doing what they were doing, which is these like little miniature promos right before it.
Yeah. I love those promos.
Oh, they were fantastic.
Not just of Zack Sabre Jr. because he was doing a gimmick thing, but every single person doing a promo was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, Zach at one point had the Young Lions do the promo. I mean, the man he's got comedy chops for days. So either way, regardless of who wins this, they're going to serve their priorities, which I do think leaves a little bit, it does leave it a little more up in the air than saying like, well, this title is built for Ren Narita and the title's going on Ren Narita. It does feel like the U30 title from back in the day with Tanahashi, that it was just like, literally they just wanted this man to have a belt. Which
would bode well for Narita to be on that Tanahashi track.
Yeah, 100%, right? A Shibata cosplay on the Shibata or on the Tanahashi track, like, not so bad, right? So this match is going to be great. I'm less I kind of got tired of the trope of like most of the matches going like 14 minutes and 30 seconds, like and playing against the time limit. But I'm back in on that. They can do that now all the time. They overdid it in the tournament, I think. So part of me hopes it goes that way, and somehow it ends very abruptly then in that last minute, because I think that'll bring a lot. What I'm looking out for in this match, though, is probably what's happening outside of the ring, and is this where Katsuyori Shibata shows up? Because he's got ties directly back to both of these guys, right? Last year at Wrestle Kingdom, he wrestled Ren Narita, and right before that, he had the no strikes match, the 5-minute match with Zack Sabre Jr. So it's almost like this was the plan all along, and to somehow involve Shibata. I hope he doesn't show up during this match, because I have some thoughts about where else I would like to see him. But
challenging Kyrie, we can say it. It's totally fine.
He's up to some weird stuff, so that wouldn't be all that out there.
Yeah, he comes out in a blue wig.
I'm ready. But I have a feeling he'll be on commentary or ringside for this particular match for good reason. These guys are both connected to him. I think Ren Narita ends up winning, because I think they are just going to go with it.
Is there any concerns to play, I guess, like the devil's advocate to the Ren Narita talk? If I'm not mistaken, the plan is for this title as well is to be a title on the sort of house showy-in, tours, right? The road twos, if you will. Is there, it's also it would be a title. Not every title is obviously defended. If it's defended on these road twos, maybe this is going to be the main event of these road twos. If it's the main event, you want to make sure you're selling tickets. Is there any concerns there that if you put the title on a new guy like Narita, that it won't necessarily work? I mean, is there any concerns that it might hurt the road twos or anything like that, or are we, is that the thought to going to a Zack Sabre Jr., or do you think, oh no, it doesn't matter, the road twos are going to sell whatever it's going to be? Do we have any concerns about how the title will work moving forward?
The intention is for the title to be defended in cities that don't usually get title defenses, which, to your point, is that level of a show, right? But I think if someone like Ren Narita holds the title and people start to get excited about going back to those shows in those smaller towns, smaller cities, I think all that does is make Ren Narita the biggest star in the city.
Oh, start planting seeds all over Japan.
Right. And then eventually Ren Narita becomes the bigger star in Osaka, in, Sapporo, in Tokyo, right? Like, then eventually that builds itself. And I think that actually could be a really organic way to grow Ren Narita's fan base. Because you see the man in the main event that's walking in with the title, he's a bigger deal. He's immediately a bigger deal. And I think that there's a lot of trust in Ren Narita and his ability in this lane to kind of carry that level of New Japan, right? Like the level that maybe like you wouldn't even see like the junior tag titles defended. That's kind of the barometer, right? Like those kind of live, those and the never open weight 6-man, like they live in Korakuen, right? Those are Korakuen defense titles. And this is maybe a step to the side of that, where it's like Korakuen sized venues, but not in Tokyo. And I don't think that that's anything to scoff at. I think that that's a really cool lane. We'll see if it works. But I don't know that Zach has much more draw on that than Ren Narita would right now. I think the title and the title and the excitement of those matches, the 15-minute time limit, is actually going to be what draws people in.
Sells itself. Idle matches.
Yeah.
The win for me going, right? Like I like to think about it in my respect. It's like, I get a title match, right? At one of these live shows, that's cool enough for me. And like Chris said, go with that young movement. I'll share my shots about Shooter in a little bit, but going with these guys is what I would be doing.
Perfect. Beautiful. Let's talk about the 5th match. Never open weight title match. Champion Carl Anderson defending his title against Tama Tonga. The lights are bright, baby, in Tokyo. Carl Anderson driving all the way from whatever tour stop he's at in the States. He wouldn't be driving, I guess. Flying
he's making sounds.
This is just another stop on the tour, baby. For Bright Lights, Carl Anderson.
I have a real question to ask.
Go, perfect. Go for it.
Will he try? Sorry, I got to be honest. Like, will he try? Because he did it the last time I saw him.
Yeah, that Bright Lights. The Tanahashi match wasn't too great, and the Hikuleo one wasn't much better.
You said the Hikuleo one was maybe the worst title match you've seen this year. So
I did
just
say
be
that.
honest.
I did say that. No, I have real concerns. I have real concerns about that. I think that
I like Tama Tonga. I will say, I think he's so over with the crowd that he will this to something better than anyone expects.
That's what I was about to say. I think if anyone had, he did have a match with Tanahashi, but the crowd loves Tanahashi too. And I would say Tanahashi is probably a better wrestler than Tama Tonga. No offense to Tama Tonga, but it's Tanahashi.
Bold
Tama Tonga's pretty good.
No, I agree.
He's on the run of his life.
I said Carl Anderson had a bad match against Hikuleo. I was also like one of the few people that were defending one of the Tama Tonga evil matches, I believe, during the New Japan Cup.
You weren't defending. You were praising.
That's accurate.
Specifically.
That match was good.
It was great.
was.
I loved it. I love that.
I
match.
might have been the best Evil match.
It was.
I mean, I'm a House of Torture defender. We don't have
much like us.
Much like us. Thank you for joining the show.
I think there's a lot of us, but we don't talk a lot.
I hope they run the Rambo.
Well, that's where they're gonna be apparently.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say we don't have much to talk about there, so I have to bring it up.
So you were defending Evil. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Yes, no. I'm not Joel Abraham over here. That man he'll go to bat for Evil. Here's the thing: the Never Openweight Championship has been defended in the Tokyo Dome 9 times, and it's changed hands 7. So
hope.
Let's make it 8 of 10.
There's your Chris Sampson preview.
There's not much more. Well, the Never Openweight Championship changes hands more frequently than any other title in New Japan, at a rate of 45.12% exactly. What I will say, I have a little. So remember the build up to this match, which was really just Tama Tonga showed up after the Hikuleo match, ate a gun stun. Carl Anderson said, "I'll see you in the Tokyo Dome."
Yeah.
Can we just reverse that? Right? They both do their entrances. They show up. Tama Tonga, gun stun. The belt is mine. See you later. I don't care if Carl Anderson tries. It's over.
So you're pitching that this match goes shorter than the 3-minute Young Lions match.
Yes. Yeah. First of all, I think that would be interesting because I think that I mean, I don't think they're going to do that. I really don't. And I think Carl Anderson has one more great match left in him. And I think that there's a pretty long-standing relationship with Tama Tonga. That I think they'll pay deference to. So I have some hope that this will be pretty good.
My mini hope is that that the women's match has more time than this match. I want you're saying squash. My max is 10. My max is 10 minutes here. Give I can see it in your face, Chris. Even you are saying that's way too much time. But that's my max on this one. Let's just.
I mean, he just pitched 10 seconds. So.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But here's the question: will this match be better than Evil versus Ishii last year, which did not land with most people? That's the barometer right now.
It's a fun game to play,
right? Because that match got absolutely dumped on by a lot of people. I didn't think it was that bad, but it wasn't great.
No.
People were mad because it was Ishii. That's
right. People get real emotional about the Ishii, the quality of Ishii matches.
Oh yeah, It's it's that, and then Bright Lights Carl Anderson.
yeah. Well, and here we are in the same lane, the Never Openweight Championship, which really hasn't grabbed its footing in a while now.
In a weird way, there's the benefit of this match is that the expectations are so low that, hey, if they put out a good match, they're going to surprise most people. That's, that at this rate, to be frank about it, I think that, I don't know if we'll get a lot of people dogging on this match, because if we get even a 3-star match, 3.5 star, maybe, I don't know, people will be like, all right, that was better. That was better than I thought. So I think it's possible that, I hate to say it, that this match will be better than Evil Ishii. I think it's totally possible.
I think my biggest takeaway for this is people will appreciate Tama Tonga's performance, whatever it is. I think he's going to put on a great show, whether it is 10 seconds or 10 minutes. I think his connection with the crowd will lead this to being better than people expect, truthfully.
Totally agree. Let's move on to the 6th match. Keiji Muto's last match in New Japan. The Scotty match special over here. On one side,
it really is.
We have on one side, we of course got the one and only Keiji Muto. We also have Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shota Umino teaming up with Muto.
That's my team right there. I made that trio.
Yeah, you got the call and you built that. Versus LIJ, Bushi, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito. Chris, let's go with you first. Thoughts on this match? I know obviously there might not be a lot of stats with Muto per se, but thoughts on this match.
You didn't ask him the most important stat. How many knees actually work in this match?
Oh,
that's a interesting stat.
Let's see.
Huh.
2.
We know Umino's work. Presumably, we know that's good. But
I mean,
Bushi's up there.
I really need more of an over/under. I think we're over/under like 13 knees.
Yeah, it was wait, I was like 13 knees. How is there not a number? I forgot Muto's in the match. Yeah, like over/under 6 is probably the number there.
Yeah, right.
Man,
I mean, I think both of Umino's work. I think half of each of Tanahashi's work.
So we total to 1,
depending on the season, really, right?
Yeah,
so G1 season they start to not work, and that's the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Muto, he looked all right this morning.
He did.
You know,
doesn't mean they're there though.
No, that doesn't mean he has knees. Naito, we know that his knees are just dust.
Yeah.
And he has no eyeballs. It's incredible that he wrestled in 133 matches with no eyes and no knees. Sonata, if he keeps doing those moonsaults. Huh? Yeah.
I saw the reactions to that.
Holy cow. People have feelings about Tetsuya Naito. And I knew that, but I didn't really know that. Yeah, so I mean, Muto, this will be his 32nd match in the Tokyo Dome, which is pretty good. I think he's just behind actually let me get it right.
I'll have one more this year, of course, when he
right. So
retires.
He'll be behind.
Because he would technically for Noah, he'll have another.
Well, his retirement show is the Dome.
Yeah,
he'll end with 33, which will put him tied with Kojima, but behind Nakanishi, Chono, Tenzan, Nagata, and Liger.
Okay, but so he's up there.
I mean, that's the list, right?
Well, he's also up there for a guy that hasn't been in like New Japan proper in a very long time.
Correct. So he hasn't wrestled in the Tokyo Dome since I think 2013. Yeah, it was the Goldberg thing. 14.
That was a long time.
Great.
Yeah, 14. Actually, he teamed with Toru Yano on Wrestle Kingdom 8.
Beautiful. Okay. What a squad.
Yeah, against get this, Minoru Suzuki and Shelton Benjamin.
Hey, little Shelly B.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good.
Back to this match.
I think they booked this perfectly though. Like obviously on the one side you've got three generations, right? And on the other side you've got LIJ. Mm-hmm. And Umino has been mixing it up with Naito on the road to Tokyo Dome shows. And I don't think that's just for this. I think that's going to be the continued situation for Umino. Putting Sonata in there with Muto is perfect because they have such history.
Yep.
Same with Naito. I mean, Naito and Muto had a one-on-one match at Tokyo Dome. Oh, gosh. What year was that? 2012.
Yeah,
2012. Wrestle Kingdom 6. So for what they're trying to accomplish, which is to feature Muto and to have a moment for them, they couldn't have booked a better match. How it ends, I don't know if it really matters. Is Muto now on his way? Is he doing his actual farewell tour based on what happened this morning, or is that the WWE influence? Feels like that's it.
Muto wins, LOL.
Yeah, Muto. I think the Muto side is probably winning this. But what I do hope is that it's not just a straight up like, oh, Bushi takes the pin, right? Like I think it's way more interesting if Umino pins Naito, or Muto finally does a moonsault onto Sonata. Yeah, and we call it a day. I think that's interesting too, right? So
also terrifying.
Also extremely terrifying. But if you're ever going to be terrifying, do it at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, the big payday, baby.
And then maybe do it again. So this will be fun. I think it's placed right too. I mean, like this is the time that you can't. It's not a cool down match, but it's also not a match. It's the only match on the card with no stakes.
Yeah.
Right. And the only stake is, how do we get Umino to look like a star? Yeah. I think.
Or if Muto can make it through the match, it would be the other stake.
He'll be fine.
I think I also pitch. I also pitch a potential finish. What if we got completely surprised that it's actually the LIJ thing? What if Nakamura this morning stole the mist and practically beat Muto with the mist? What if Sonata beats Muto with the moonsault? What if that's just go super bold with it?
That'd be very cool.
That would be cool.
Let's just go for it. Why not? The guy's leaving.
That would be pretty neat, actually, and that would mean a lot, I think, to Sonata too.
Yeah.
Like not even him as a person, but him as an entity.
Yeah.
So
and the fans would obviously get behind Sonata even more in that point.
Right. So that's my preferred finish now. So if that happens, I'll be very happy. No, that's good.
Him to finish.
Well, we got him. We got him, folks.
My preference, if anyone cares, is Umino pinning Naito. So
I mean, that's a great one too. If you really want to showcase Umino, have him pinning the head LIJ member is going to do it.
Well, and that also sets up I look back at, say, like Great Khan's initial run with the singles matches, with Naito, with Sonata, with honestly, this lane, right? Like when he started to pop up. So he lost most of those first matches against those guys because then they rolled him back in tournaments and things of the sort. And he's starting to get some of his wins back. And I wonder if, say maybe you get Umino and he does end up pinning Naito, but then they run a singles match at New Beginning and Naito wins, right? And then Umino's got something to chase or to bounce back in New Japan Cup or G1 or whatever it may be. So I think that's a certain possibility too.
Let's move on to the next match. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. This is the 4-way match, folks. It is Master Wato, El Desperado, and Hiromu Takahashi taking on the champion Taiji Ishimori. This I loved. Loved. It was definitely my match of the week at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Their chaos tag team match. Chaos, not the faction, but the chaotic tag team match that they had. I thought that was it felt so weirdly like revolutionary of how chaotic it could get. Like it took the classic of can they coexist to the nth degree of non-coexistence. And I just love that match so much. If it's anything similar to that experience, I will thoroughly enjoy this match. Scotty, we'll start with you. How are you feeling on this 4-way for the junior heavyweight title?
Oh, it's gonna be a blast. That's the biggest takeaway I have. Like, I almost don't care who wins in a way, like, because for me, changing it up to being a 4-way rather than a big singles match, it gives you interesting ways to make this work. If I was to pick a guy who I wanted to win, it'd be Desperado. But do I think that's going to happen? No idea. But I think all of them work so well in that tag match. I'm so intrigued to see what they do now in singles. Wato getting the big spot here. Almost feels like it would have been Kushida had things happened differently. But I think Wato has shown up in the big spots, and he's a guy that I think does have potential, and he's starting to finally put it together in the big spot. Can he show up? I think he can with these three. I mean, these three got in the way. You can't ask for a better three to do that. This should be a great match, and it'll be perfect right before the double main event.
I think that's a great point. Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, that tag match was some of the most fun I've had watching wrestling in a very long time. I mean, loved that. Probably gonna go watch that as soon as we get off the line here. What I will say, people have feelings about a 3 or 4-way on a major show, which I totally understand. Right, I'm a singles match guy. I'm very much like, give me 1-on-1 and like let's go. And these guys, they've kind of figured out how to make it work, and make it work in the build-up, make it work in there. And when they announced this match in like freaking September, like it feels like we've known that this was going to be the junior title match forever. But here's the thing: all these dudes have shown up this year. Nobody in this match wrestled less than 109 matches in New Japan in 2022, which is insane.
Jesus.
It's so they're all in the top 115 of number of matches in New Japan. El Desperado has the least at 109, and that's not even including all the other matches I mean, that dude gets out there and freelances, right? So these guys showed up, including Master Wato. I mean, I was very surprised by that. He has wrestled a ton this year, 115 matches. They all have positive fall differentials, so they're all relatively fall differentials, winning falls for minus losing falls, right? So they're all relatively protected, including Wato. And I think a lot of people still see Wato as this like kind of jobber dude that shows up and is on the pre-show, but like I wouldn't say he's getting pushed to the moon, but he's not getting pushed to the moon.
Yeah.
And a little bit of this is like, okay, this kid's been working his ass off. So let's, in light of Kushida's situation, let's put Wato in the space and see what happens. And maybe he's taking the strap. I don't know. Right? Like maybe it's one of those things where it's like, maybe it's just worth a shot. I think you got to get Ishimori away from the title and let him do something interesting. Hiromu, maybe it's time to go back to Hiromu. It's been a minute. He actually hasn't held the belt since early 2021. And you know, Desperado's kind of a lost soul right now because of the Suzuki-gun situation. And I hope that means he's going to really dig his heels in and do a lot with New Japan, but it might mean he's going to freelance a bunch. So, it's kind of wide open to me. I don't know who's going to win. I do think the title will move off of Ishimori, but other than that, within the other three, not really sure.
Yeah, no, I'm very fascinated to see that. Like we talked about with the Suzuki-gun disbandment, seeing El Desperado in here is an interesting thought process to go through, because you could see him being sort of like as a lost soul, but you also see him as like, well, this is the perfect moment for him to step out as like his own dude, you know, like this is another moment to become his own guy, underneath, out from underneath that Suzuki-gun thing, but to a certain extent he already has done that, so I don't know how much that holds weight. Master Wato is a fascinating thought. I am one of those people that like I still think of him as like a jobber guy, but that was a stink that like Taichi had for like a very long time, and it took him a very long time to get rid of the to steal the quote from Super J-Cast, to steal that quote of that bag of sock stink. You know, that is something that it took him a very long time to do, and that stink sort of transferred over to Wato. If there is going to be a match that, you know, we're talking about with Narita, with Shota Umino, if they're going to really push the youth movement, Master Wano's in there. Master Wano can be right there. He's still new to this roster. And, you know, have him really under these tags and everything all year, really grind, get better throughout the course of the year, and then come out, showcase himself in a fantastic four-way. Everyone makes him look great. He looks great. He does a great job, and then he wins the title. Boom, bing, bang, boom! You got a new star, baby. I'm excited to see what happens.
I like Master Wato. So yeah, you and me have had the battle of the past year of I think he's getting there. You're like, you know, I think that tag actually opened your eyes to it.
It did.
But I would like to see them go crazy. Maybe give them a shot. You know what? The worst thing that happens, guess what? You take the title off and we put on Hiromu. Like, isn't that tough?
What I'll be watching for is if they go with Narita, and then they really feature Umino in the Muto match. I think that bodes well for Wato.
Yeah,
because then it really means that we're looking at a kind of a generational shift Tokyo Dome card.
Let me look at the rest of this card. How much youth is in the rest of this card?
Well, Osprey's still 29.
Osprey's still very young for what he's accomplished. Certainly.
I mean, Oleg. If the Oleg squash happens, you know, that's
sure.
There.
Sure.
I don't know if Rush counts as the youth movement, but yeah, no, they have a real prime opportunity to really showcase the youth here, and I think. I wouldn't be surprised if they take it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, Akira, I mean, Akira's he's super young.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
I think.
So, and he's already got the strap, but so there's something there too, especially on the junior side of things. They got a lot of young talent that's within the pipeline at least.
Oh yeah,
Leo Rush he's super young too. What is he, like 26?
Leo Rush has Lindsay Lohan syndrome for me, and by that I mean that he's been around for so long. I constantly think he's older than he is. Like, I found out the other day that like Lindsay Lohan's in her mid-30s, which blew my mind. I thought she was in her 40s or something. Like Leo Rush, I keep forgetting like how young that he actually is, because he's been around
28.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's 28. That's
he's
way
28.
younger than I thought. That's way younger than I thought. He was in his 30s. God damn, he's so good. Man,
he's been around the park.
God,
Akira's 23 though.
Jesus Christ, he's a
like
baby.
that's a child.
That's a child. What is he doing here?
I look forward to when he's in the junior tag, not the junior tag, the junior heavyweight match.
Yeah,
Akira.
Yeah,
he's a stud.
Yeah, I mean Akira or Rush, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna be happy with either one, but I'm excited for this match.
Well, let's get into the semi-main event before we get out of here.
The double main event.
The double.
Yeah, it's called the double.
I have to correct people on that.
It is very interesting. Not only is a double main event, and how it's interesting to see how they are advertising it. Chris, I don't know if you saw Chris or Scotty. I don't know if you saw that tweet, but there was someone realized that on the Japan language version of the site. What's that?
It's sponsored.
What's sponsored?
Well, there's that too.
Yeah,
this
particular match, or is it both main events are sponsored?
It doesn't say it for at least on the website. It doesn't say it for the main event.
But someone realized, I think it was today, that on the Japanese version of the website, the splash page, first image you see is Jay White versus Okada. On the English version of the website, the splash page, first image you see is Ospreay versus Omega. So this is the double.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. This is that Western expansion. They are advertising this match. Essentially, I'm giving it a double main event because this is probably the main event for a lot of the Western audience.
I mean, if you go on New Japan World, this is the watch live card.
Yeah,
when they show it, it's these two. So, yeah, they know what they're doing.
And we talked about before the show, Ospreay Omega IWGP US Heavyweight Championship match. Chris, you said your floor is 4 stars. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not a stars guy. I don't do star ratings, but like that almost feels low for like the expectations of this match. This match is the opposite expectation of the Never Openweight Championship match.
I said,
like whatever it is, the inverse, right? So if you're expecting a half a star match for the Never, you're going 4.5 on this right off the bat.
Yeah, like I said on here, on the Meltzer scale specifically. So like when he grades this, I think people will be upset if this only gets 5 stars. Like, because that's how it's being talked about in a lot of ways. These two are the guys that have gotten those 5 stars time and time again. Ospreay prints them out every year, essentially.
He's about to break him and
every
about
week.
Yeah, that's true.
I
was gonna say monthly, but it's like weekly at times. I think he had like 2 or 3 in 1 week this past year.
Has that Ishii match been rated yet?
Not that
the Rev Pro one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
If that gets 5 stars and then this match gets 5+ stars, I think he breaks the record.
I'll tell you the Ishii one won't. So
he either breaks the record or ties the record.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the Ishii one has that level of hype.
No. But it's Rev Pro and it gets delayed releases, so I wonder if that's part of it.
It's already out.
It's out.
Then never mind. Maybe it doesn't.
It's not good.
But so we talking 4 stars, we're talking 5 stars. I famously at one point in the set of the show when we were previewing this, that the ceiling for this for me is the greatest match of all time in the history of professional wrestling. Like this is, we're talking Flair Steamboat, we're talking Masawa
Okada Omega.
We're talking all the Okada Omegas. You're talking literally like Okada Omega at the time. I mean, even the first Omega, we wouldn't totally expect it, but then we definitely became clear of it as the rivalry continued. Right now, these are arguably the greatest wrestlers in our lifetime right now, between Omega and Ospreay. And Omega's coming back from an injury. He's coming in between of like constantly workhorsing himself on AEW Dynamite,
Trying
He's
to
in a ladder
die.
match
trying to
next year.
die, classic Omega fashion. So I jokingly say it, to sort of blow up the idea, but like it's not. I don't think out of the realm of possibility that like this is going to be that big of a match. This has the potential to be that huge of a match, and it'll be the semi-main event on the card in theory.
No, it's double.
I know it's a double. I know it's a double, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
so
the
yeah.
second match to the top. Yeah, I get you.
Yes, it has. I truly think that, like, I totally agree. Floor, I would say, I wouldn't even say as low as 4. I would say the floor could be as low as 4.5 or something.
I didn't even know the title was on the line until like a week ago.
Because it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't need it.
No, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it at all.
But
If anything, that's the one
the
thing that hurts it.
parallel back to the Jericho match
Yeah.
Yes.
is that title in this slot. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's worth noting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has something to do with they're going back to what worked before,
Yeah.
right? And that's brilliant to me. Now these guys, the Jericho match is awesome, right? The Jericho Omega match, like that ruled in its own way. It was like one of those, like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna go watch. I actually want to go watch that back before the show.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea because they made. You know how everyone likes to do callbacks, but these guys haven't wrestled much.
Yeah.
So what other callbacks do you have except for Kenny Omega essentially becoming Jericho? With the attitude, he's so much better in the ring in the ways that people, consider work ratey, right? But
yeah.
So my fear is that these guys already know when the rematch is happening and they're building towards that, as opposed to just like taking this match as a maybe we never get to do this again kind of match.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of it, we'll be able to tell whether they know when the next time is or not. Because if they leave anything on the table, they know they're going to do it again. I would hypothesize that they're going to do it again in America.
Yeah.
Right?
Forbidden Door was my guess.
Yeah, like Forbidden Door 2.
Unless they do Okada Omega, of course.
Well, so that's the thing, right? So there's a myriad of people. If Okada wins the championship, there's a myriad of people who might walk out onto that ramp, and Kenny Omega is on that list, right? So, but I would imagine that he would have to lose this match for that to be the case.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is a possibility.
I think it's a possibility, but I think if I'm a betting man, I'm betting on Omega because I think he's ready to do some work with New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did this jokingly yesterday because someone tweeted out, like, tweet your predictions, and I was like, okay, well, Omega will wrestle more than one match in New Japan. Like, that was an easy one for me. This match, I mean, it's the most highly anticipated match New Japan's had since what?
Probably the Jericho match.
Yeah. So like, and that's a great thing for New Japan, obviously. I've talked to some people, and you say your fears. Do they know the second match is coming? I say, do they know there's more matches to come in their lives after this one?
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, death is not out of the question for these two.
Because they go that extra limit.
Yeah.
And truthfully, even if they know there's another match coming, Ospreay doesn't care.
No.
He's never cared. Omega on this stage probably won't care. Guessing, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Just based off of what I've seen him do. We recently watched back the second Okada Omega match, and it's like, this dude he never cared, and he's healthier now than he was in that entire stretch, except for the first match, right? Yeah. Like, isn't that the match he got hurt in initially, Okada Omega? Was that when he got
I believe that's
Vertigo?
Yes, I believe he has said it was the Vertigo match.
Yeah, so like, he's just healthier now. He's trying to change that in his trios matches, but right now he's healthier.
Yeah.
These two are going to destroy each other in the best way possible. Whether it's the best match they have in them, I think that's a good question that Chris is kind of asking. Or do they know to kind of do the Omega Okada situation at the same time? It's like, oh, we're going to give you this great one, but we'll have greater down the road, wherever
And
that may be.
yeah, somehow we're actually just we're gonna give you all we've got, and then we're gonna figure it out later how to go higher.
Yeah.
I think in the world of professional wrestling and politics and everything, you gotta just give it all you got. You never know. Wrestling can change in a dime.
True.
Meltzer says it all the time.
Again,
Wrestling
that's the
can change all the
Ospreay
time.
thing, though.
Yeah,
He does.
Oh
He
yeah,
just
and
does.
he's gonna go out there and kill himself over it. I mean, we all know he probably saw that Vikingo gif. You know, he's gonna go out there and try to do something insane.
Oh, I sure hope he didn't.
You know,
Well, he did, because he said because someone said, how is this possible? He said, it isn't.
You know he's gonna figure out a way to do it. I don't know. Somehow he's gonna do it out of the One-Winged Angel. I don't know how. He's just gonna do it. It's gonna be fine. You know, it's gonna. You know, this is. I'm very excited about this match. I mean, I'm very, very excited about this match. I again, I'm hyperbolizing a lot, but I think
Called
this
it the greatest match of all time. So clearly you are.
But like, you know, I think this has real potential to be fantastic. I agree. I completely agree. If Yokohama's around the corner, if Forbidden Door 2 is around the corner, if any other AEW pay-per-view is around the corner, I could see an argument that they could have that, oh, we'll save some stuff. But I could also see both of these guys want to push each other to come
They're also
up with
creative
more ideas.
enough.
Yeah, these guys
without
are
doubt.
insanely creative in the ring. I can see both of them pushing, no, let's do that. And then, like you said, Chris, down the line we'll figure it out and come up with more ideas. I'm very excited for this match.
You know, I did think about this. They could play up that you know, when Ospreay knocked out Ibushi with the hidden blade. I thought maybe they could do that callback.
I mean, look at Kenny's shirt the other night.
Oh, I saw it.
So
I was gonna say.
My question is, does someone second Kenny?
I'll be really upset if I'm guessing the Young Bucks aren't there, but I'm going to be upset when they aren't, because I got accustomed to that.
Well, Well, Dave
was
very clear, like the Young Bucks are not going to Japan.
Yeah.
So I believe him when he talks about the Young Bucks, because, well, you know,
Yeah,
we all know
they're friends. They friends.
Yeah.
So, but does someone second Kenny? And someone could be Don Callis, someone could be Kota Ibushi, someone could be Takashita. I don't know. You know, like it could be. There's so many different options for that. And
Brandon Cutler, Michael
Nakazawa, sure. Let's just go full
that wouldn't
comedy.
be shocking if Nakazawa did go with him, though.
No,
Full comedy.
He did last time when Kenny got suspended when they went to Japan. Nakazawa was there with him. So.
Yeah. So
Ibushi's
I mean, the
interesting.
real question is, does Kota Ibushi show up as Kenny Omega's second? Is that his next New Japan? Did things blow over and that's the way that we get Ibushi to show up in New Japan again?
it'd be so upsetting if that is. But that would be so upsetting if that is the next time we see the last time we see Ibushi. In
that
New Japan.
doesn't seem like the right lane. That's all,
right.
you know. But it also might be the right lane.
It might be
for
the
him.
perfect lane.
Right.
It'd be very Kota Ibushi.
Totally.
or you know, maybe when is Ibushi's contract end? It's the end of January, not the beginning,
that's
right?
Most contracts with New Japan end at the end of January.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if things have cooled over that much and Omega's over there, I mean, Yokohama's around the corner, baby.
Well, the Yokohama logo is gold and blue. And the Wrestle Kingdom 15 logo was also gold and blue, which is where Ibushi stood tall. So
Interesting.
like I'm not saying that those
him.
things are always right, but it's not. If it were black and gold, I'd be like, well, we're doing a crossover show. But we're not quite there. But there might be something there, right? I mean, like, I'm an Ibushi fan. Like, I would love for him I would love for things to have blown over.
Yes.
I
just
hope
want him to wrestle again, personally.
Totally.
That's where
Anywhere.
I'm at.
anywhere. So, you know, could I handle seeing Ibushi, Omega, and Ospreay all like interacting at the same time and wondering about all the three-way things that could happen between all? I mean, they all want to die in the ring. Like, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
So, you know, if like Shibata, if Ibushi's going to show up, I hope it's not here. I hope it's after the main event. But this match deserves all the hype. I think it would have gotten announced earlier had Kenny Omega not been suspended for as long as he was.
Agreed.
Because I think that they did miss a little bit of build up there, because I think then they could have done some stuff on AEW TV, and maybe Kenny could have shown up at a New Japan show, like actually physically shown up, not a video.
Yeah. There wouldn't have been a 7-match series, that would have been avoidable.
Yeah.
That's also
right,
true.
right. We would have had a plan. So, but when it comes down to it, like, the title doesn't matter. What matters in this match is like the spectacle of it, and honestly, probably the finish, because that'll lead to something else later.
It's truly fascinating. Every facet of this match is fascinating to me. I'm very excited for it. Let's get to our other double main event. Our other double main event. That is Jay White defending his IWGP World Heavyweight title against the winner of the G1 Climax, Kazuchika Okada. Now, I would say, obviously, the Western audience is more into Ospreay Omega. It's been sort of tough for a build for this show because of Jay White not necessarily being there every single time. That is how it is. But how are we ever feeling about this match? I know we just, so over the moon about Ospreay Omega, but Scotty, how are you feeling about this match?
I mean, it's gonna be fantastic. I like that's the funny thing of all of this. It's like people are like, whatever. I was like, okay, it's Okada in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. Like, let's not act like this is not going to work.
Yeah.
You, for example, I know for a fact your match of the year 2 years ago was Jay White versus Kota Ibushi in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom.
Love that.
So it's like, let's not sit here and act, and there's at least a decent amount of cheering that's going to only benefit Jay White in the way he wrestles. Let's not sit around and like act like this is gonna be bad. Well, I know we're not. People are. They're like, oh, who cares? It's like, well, I do, because it's the IWGP World Championship. It's Kazuchika Okada, maybe going to go down as the greatest of all time when it's all said and done. The dude's a Observer Hall of Famer, and has half of his career left, essentially. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be everything you want in a Wrestle Kingdom main event, and it's going to follow a match that, it may take some out of it. It's not going to take me out of it. This is what Wrestle Kingdom's built on, is greatness in the final couple matches.
Chris, talk to us about this match. Give us everything.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people that are talking about how cold this match is.
Yeah.
And my rebuttal for that is, what more do you need? Like, what more do you need than Okada in his 10th Tokyo Dome main event against Jay White in his second, as with his last hurdle, really, which is Okada in the main event, right?
Yeah.
If Jay stands tall here, he's accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish in New Japan Pro Wrestling, which worries me a little bit.
Which would also be boring, because then what more can he do?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
You would have to figure there's a plan that would come into effect probably the next night,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
But I don't know. I'm a simple guy. This man's the champion, right? Jay White's the champion. Okada won the G1. I don't need a lot of dicking around between that. Like, the man won history. The man won, and that's exactly it too. These guys don't need to build up some sort of personal grudge. It's there. It goes back to Jay as a young lion.
Yeah.
Like, this goes all the way back. So sure, could they have done more to build it up? Yeah, I guess. But like, to what end? You're still going to land in the same place, right? And sure, do I wish Jay was at least on, I guess, the Road to Tokyo Dome shows or something, just to build up some more interactions or see more interactions? Yeah. We don't need it, though. We don't need it. And this match is going to be one of those matches that's an objectively great pro wrestling match. I could see there being a group of people that consider this match at the end of it, after it, to be significantly better than Omega Osprey, only because that's not everyone's style.
Yeah.
Right.
And these guys, I mean, look back to Jay White versus Ibushi. That match, one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yes.
But then add in Okada, who has the same ability to draw on the psychology of wrestling as Jay White. Like, they're at that same level of being able to draw you in and build this match with just the right building blocks and just the right moments that keep you engaged in it. And Jay White, he's famously 4-1 in one-on-one matches against Okada. So that's the easy lane to be like, well, it's not going to be LOL Okada wins, because he doesn't win against Jay White.
Yeah.
And there's some truth to that. Like, I think look back to 2018. Everyone thought Tetsuya Naito was going to walk out of that dome with that belt on his shoulder, right? And if this is a re-up of that year, everyone thinks Okada's winning this match.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And maybe he's not.
That's a great point. It would be foolish as a fan of New Japan to just look at the main event and be like, slam dunk, it's gonna be Okada, whatever, when there is a perfect moment in New Japan history, recent New Japan history of, slam dunk, it's gonna be Naito. Wow, that is a fantastic point. Scotty, you were about to say something?
I think if White wins, you get some sort of big thing at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to.
But like, if Okada wins, you don't need it, right? You got a new world champion, have a big moment. But if White wins, you get something big. I would laugh out loud if it was Evil attacking Jay White. Just because it would anger so many
No
people.
Evil slander. This is an evil
I like Evil.
We all love
just
Evil.
Know,
we
I
are
just
in agreement.
know the
We love
reactions
Evil
online, and it excites me that people would be very angry. But in all seriousness, I do think if Jay White wins, you get something big at the end. I don't know what, obviously, whether that's, like Chris said, Kota Ibushi walking back in the door and, trying to get the title. Kota Ibushi could show up either way. He has stories with both, obviously, right? That's a guy that Jay White desperately wants to probably beat with that world title on the line. While Okada, they have the injury to play off of. But I mean, I'm just so excited for this. Like they're two very different double main events, right?
Yes.
They're very different matches. They're going to be very different matches, and that's why I'm so invested in both. And I think it may feel cold to people on the outside, but if you know these two and you know what they've done, it's not cold. It's like if you put any sort of, like, I was gonna say any main eventer against Okada at this point, but like, imagine if it was like Tanahashi and Okada and they just built it this way. They're like, oh well, there's no build.
Cold.
Yeah, well, they don't need it. They're kind of built. They have that built in, but it's like Okada, Tokyo Dome main event, Jay White, what he's done in these big matches. I'm very confident this can be a match of the year contender too. I know people are we're picking Osprey and Omega. This can do just the same in very different ways.
It won't shock me if these two, at the end of 2023, people are talking about them as their 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like that wouldn't surprise me at all. I think with the speed that New Japan's moving at right now, I think we have to see somebody challenge after the match. Like, I do think this is one of those Wrestle Kingdoms where you got to see what's next.
Yes.
Kenta again. All right, sweet.
Because that's Kenta can be kind of fun too.
I love Kenta.
Yeah,
I've been loving Kenta and Noah.
Kenta
attacking Jay White would be
something, right?
Good. That'd be
that would be confusing though.
It would be confusing, but it would be something. It would be something.
Okay.
It would be a thing. I've got 3 guys that I want to see walking out of down that ramp.
Hit us.
And only one of them, I think I only want to see if Okada wins. But if Okada wins, my number 1 choice is I want to see Shibata walk down that ramp. That would blow my mind, and I would be so excited.
If I saw that, you would have to take out my brain, and then put it back in. That's how excited I would be. It would fall out of my head, and you got to put it back in. That's how excited I would be.
I got
Second
goosebumps
choice.
thinking about it.
Second choice, Ibushi.
Yeah.
And Ibushi works for either guy, and I would love it if things blow over.
Okada would be great because that was the last match, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's exactly it. So his arm fell off the same way Shibata's brain was removed.
And who else has lost appendages or body parts? Who's the third guy?
Well, third guy's Kenny Omega, and that also works for either.
It does,
right? So Ibushi or Omega really works for either, and I think Omega's probably the longest shot, just because I think he's going to be wrapped up in what he's doing with Ospreay right now, and I don't think they're going to want to remove him from that quite as immediately. But any of those three dudes shows up at the end of the show, and they're sending everyone home happy and psyched for what's coming up next.
Yeah.
And I really truly think this is a year that's what they're going to try to do.
Yeah. I think, this year of, celebrating the anniversary year of New Japan, I think this was the year of like, working with everybody and showcasing and all this stuff. But now, we kind of slow burned it a little bit, soft opening the crowd a little bit. But now we're sort of kicking it into a higher gear with clap crowds in the Tokyo Dome. Oh, no, sorry, not clap crowds. The very opposite of clap crowds in the Tokyo Dome. I think this is the year where I could see them, along with youth movement, what we've already talked about, along with Western expansion, something that we talked about as well with Dream Queendom, with Stardom, and Bushiroad and everything of that. You can really see this all coming together as one big. This is the year where New Japan steps out, comes to play. We have all the stuff that's ready. The rebuilding years are over. We are here. We are presenting ourselves. New Japan is back. New Japan is fully back to where we were. It is fully on board. Get on board. Spend that $7 and get on board. Because we're going to extreme heights. I think not only would I love to see that, but it really needs that, because it hasn't fully felt like that in the past couple of years. And I think they really need to have a home run, for lack of a better term, in the Tokyo Dome, a home run to really showcase what it needs to be to the Western audience to really win them back as well.
It feels like this is just the exclamation point to be like, obviously COVID's not over. COVID's a thing that will exist for forever, but it's their step out of that, right? Mm-hmm. That era. That's what this era has been. You could say rebuild. I'm going to say it's COVID era. It stopped them from doing a lot of things, obviously. And I mean, you lost Jay White because of it for a year, pretty much. You lost Ospreay. Well, Ospreay got hurt, but kind of lost him. This is and Omega's back. I mean, that kind of the full circle type thing too, right? Omega leaves. You had the 2020 Wrestle Kingdom, which was great, and then you call all back, and the Omega promos of "I'm coming back to save New Japan." It's just good timing. It's all good timing for everyone, and I'm excited for the surprises. I'm excited for the matches. This is the most excited I've been for a New Japan show since, I don't know, 2020 probably, the 2020 Wrestle Kingdom.
This is a great preview because I'm super excited to watch this card now. I'm amped. I wish this card was tomorrow. I hate that I gotta wait.
It's pretty close. We're pretty close.
We're almost there. Whew. And with that, my work is done because I have hyped you guys. No, I couldn't be more excited for this card, and I love that I get to run around and talk to people like you guys who are clearly informed and willing to be excited about the show, because I think there's a lot of people that don't want to be pumped on New Japan. They want to live in their the world that they've found, right? Which is like I said earlier, a post AEW pro wrestling world. But I mean, for my money, New Japan Pro Wrestling's still the best in-ring product. Yeah. And I totally understand getting drained by clap crowds and crowds not being able to vocalize and not having that same emotional attachment to the product that we had forever before that. And we also had that emotional attachment to the product because it was the only product like that. And now AEW is the competition, but it's also, I think, in the pandemic period, New Japan figured out what their lane is that isn't the same as AEW. It's not just like, because AEW is a great television pro wrestling product. New Japan is a sport.
Yeah.
And it's treated and presented that way. And with that said, putting on a Wrestle Kingdom card in the Tokyo Dome with 9 matches and only one of them doesn't have a title on the line, like that's a sport. Like that's some important stuff. And this is one of the first cards of its kind in almost 3 years now. So, let's get into it. And I know all these guys are going to show up and give their best. I hope the pacing of the show is good. I'm expecting about a 4-hour main card, which is probably about right. With some big stuff. They'll probably do the calendar announcements in the middle. They'll have
my favorite part of the show.
Literally my favorite part of the show. Maybe you've got, at least one big thing showing up, one big person showing up, and maybe some people coming back, right? That aren't just Kenny Omega. So this is a big turning point show for New Japan. And, I imagine they're going to deliver, but we got to watch and see, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, and I'm excited, and I'm very excited to see it. Well, speaking of the sport of professional wrestling, Chris, thank you so much for coming on to our show. It has been a blast to have you on. I know it's been a long talk, but I think this was a fantastic talk. So thank you so much for being here. And of course, as common courtesy in the podcast world, Chris, anything to plug to tell the fine people at home?
Truthfully, I don't know exactly where my written Wrestle Kingdom preview is going to show up, so I don't have anything to plug right off the bat, but keep an eye on the official New Japan website, because it might pop up there. If not, it'll probably pop up at Voices of Wrestling, but I will let everyone know at my Twitter, which is at the Chris Samsa, and I'll also be live tweeting Wrestle Kingdom. As the matches hit the ring, I will tweet all of my facts and figures and stats, just in case Kevin and Chris don't quite get to all of them, which they sure as hell won't. But they'll all be there on the Twitter world. So, but thank you guys for having me. This has been a really great time. I've really enjoyed this.
Well, perfect. Scotty, for you, anything to plug as we close out here?
No, I'm tired. It's funny because like I obviously do a lot of things, but I'm just geared up for this show. Like, truthfully, if people have been paying attention, I did a lot of Stardom stuff last week, but it's all about this show now. This is the big one. This is the one I wait for every year. For me, it's Wrestle. It's now Stardom Dream Queendom, obviously, because that is a annual for the first time. Wrestle Kingdom as my big Japan one. And then Royal Rumble at the end of the month, because who doesn't love the Royal Rumble? WWE can do a lot of things bad, but they did the Royal Rumble bad last year. But
yeah, that was pretty bad Rumble.
But I do love the Royal Rumble because it just causes instant excitement, and I feel like they're going to try to prove something this year. But it's all in this like 1 month reign. It's my favorite month of wrestling, so I'll have content. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy the wrestling because that's why we do this.
Was the last Royal Rumble the Shane McMahon one?
The Shane McMahon one where he didn't do anything, but he wanted to like win the whole thing. Yeah.
God damn it.
Brock won and Ronda won. Really had people jumping for joy.
Yeah, Brock really needed that Royal Rumble accolade. Anyways, you gotta throw those snide comments every once in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Chris, for so much being on. Of course, I'll plug Scotty's Twitter at Scott E Wrestling. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Knightsey. Follow the whole kit and caboodle at Countout Pod. If you heard the first half, we talked about our Countout Year-End Awards. Those nominations were announced early in the show, and we'll have on Twitter and all that stuff, but also in the podcast description, a link where you can vote on who you consider wrestlers of the year, matches of the year, the whole kit and caboodle. Again, thank you, Chris, so much for coming onto the show. It was fantastic talking to you. We would love to have you back whenever you're available.
I'm going to reach out to him for the G1.
Anytime. Yeah, the G1's my next big tour is the G1.
Yeah, we'll get in the
G1.
G1.
That was your favorite event, so I was like, oh, well, I mean, that's like, obviously, you want to talk about stats.
Yeah, well, that's the one.
Yeah.
Tokyo Dome and G1, I've got separate documents for. They're hefty.
I can't wait. We definitely got to have you back. But thank you everybody for listening to Ring Post Radio. We will be back next week with an all new episode talking, we'll probably be reviewing Wrestle Kingdom and giving you our
It'll
thoughts.
just be Wrestle Kingdom. It'll be such a long review.
Oh, it will be. It's going to be probably the whole show. But that's totally fine. And I'm so excited for it. Thank you everybody for listening and watching us on Ring Post Radio. We will see you all next